Hello and welcome to the Old Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And Josh.
Joined once again to talk all kind of movie madness and whatnot, and we were talking all about like a little Tim Allen action right beforehand, a little Home Improvement, and you were saying if you were to go back and rewatch some of those.
Oh yeah, I mean, I keep thinking about it. You know, it captured a special little part of like what, the late '90s, early 2000s. When was Home Improvement?
It's technically early 90s it starts, because it starts in like 91, because remember, that's like Pamela Anderson's first like actual like TV gig.
Oh, you're right.
And she's very underused in those first couple seasons, because I was watching through it again not too long ago whenever I had Disney Plus going, and I was just throwing some Home Improvements on here and there because I always enjoyed it. It makes me feel nostalgic going back. I felt like I learned a lot of carpentry skills from that. what to do and what not to do.
With Bob Vila. Bob Vila's in it.
Yeah, or no, Bob Vila's the. It's not Bob Vila. Bob Vila's the dude who does This Old House, isn't it?
Isn't he the co-star like of like actual Home Improvement? It's Bob Vila.
Is that really Bob Vila?
I haven't seen it since it was on air. That's how long it's been since I've seen Home Improvement, which is why I was like, you know what, to bring it full circle, watching Fatman, you know, the whole time you're watching it, you start thinking about the 90s, and you're thinking about Mel Gibson from the 90s, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know why I connected Tim Allen and Mel Gibson together, but I was like, man, I need to rewatch Home Improvement.
Oh no, I'll say, and it still holds up really fun and everything like that. Why am I can't find his fucking name? I pulled up Home Improvement really quick because I had to check. Does Earl Hindman sound like it? No, his name's
Nope.
No, that's Wilson. Take that back. Who the fuck? Yeah, not old Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Is Bob Vila just another person from the 90s that was really big at some point?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the dude from This Old House and so on. So, okay, Richard Karn is the dude who plays Al on Home Improvement.
Okay.
But yeah, but like that dude, because remember, he used to be like, he was like pretty much like the figurehead of like Orchard Supply for a while and so on like that. They like literally use him in all sorts of like power tool commercials.
I remember the power tool commercials. I don't know. It's so weird. I don't remember a whole lot of commercials except for, you know, like the big ones that actually made an impact on me.
Yeah.
You know, for all the wrong reasons. Like, what's the dude's name? The ShamWow guy. Ever since, the hooker almost bit his dick off. Oh, no, not him. Not Billy Mays, but
not Billy Mays. No, I remember the ShamWow guy. Yeah, okay, that's the dude selling the German like product or whatever. It's from Germany, so you know you can trust it.
Well, that was the dude who the hooker almost bit his dick off, and he beat the shit out of her.
Dude, those guys that work on like those selling TVs must just live a real interesting life. I don't feel like anybody has a normal life when you're
Right.
you're like, you know, selling things late at night on TV. You know, just like Billy Mays, like just on hooked up on cocaine and whatnot.
Right. Well, what's interesting, I don't know why he's been popping into like my Spotify, like, podcasts you should listen to. But Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, that's how he started, apparently. He was an infomercial guy.
Yeah, I listened to that one where he was on, I guess was it Joe Rogan or something like that? He was on there. And I'm like, the Dirty Jobs guy? I'm like, this sounds interesting. And yeah, he was all about the infomercials. And he just would like go on there and just wing it and everything like that. I'm like, that's kind of badass.
Right. Yeah, I started listening to his podcast. I was like, I don't know why I got here, but I'm here now.
Is it pretty interesting? I mean, the guy's got a sultry voice. I mean, it makes you want to listen to more.
I mean, the only critique I have on his podcast is they're sometimes really short.
That bothers me when podcasts are short. I don't know why.
Right.
It feels like it's, I don't know, it's that one, a lot of times it takes a half an hour to get rolling, so like if you end your podcast, like, at about that mark, it's like, well, now we just got started. It seemed like we're getting somewhere interesting, and now you cut it short.
Well, yeah, and who has a problem with like stopping a podcast, hitting pause, going about whatever you have to do and be like, oh, I'll pick up this conversation.
Yeah,
Like that's
exactly.
so hard to do. You have to have 30 minutes. Like, nope. I only got 30 minutes. That's it. One shot and done.
That's it. Yeah. Well, the thing for me is like I listen to podcasts while I'm out walking about at work and so on like that. So it bothers me if they end really early because then it's like, oh, hold on a second, let me scroll through here and find something else to listen to now. I want one that's going to last me like the majority of my day.
Right. I'll listen to them while I'm working. Sometimes it's a detriment.
Yeah.
It's not good. Dude, a funny one. One time, because I work for a government organization, and I was listening to a podcast with the head of that government organization on it while I was working, and I was like, "This is so interesting."
Hey, here we go. We're tying it all together now.
Right. Just listening to him, just be like, "Yeah, you're full of shit."
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm working here. I'm part of the cog. You know what?
I'm just a shield. I'm just a government shield.
Yeah, I just work here on the ground floor doing the dirty work.
Right.
But we thought we've been talking about like we should do a little Christmas movie here, and I've always wanted to talk about Fatman. This is one of those ones that I didn't realize it's 2020. I didn't think this movie being that. I thought it was only a couple of years ago it came out, but I remember when it did, I was like, holy fuck, Mel Gibson as Santa Claus, you don't have to tell me anymore. And then the premise itself is already like, if you don't want to see this movie by just like it alone, I don't know. I don't even know what you want in life, because here's the thing. It's like you get some rich little snobby kid who comes in and...
weirdest looking kid, by the way. He's fucking weird looking.
Yeah, weird looking, fucking waspy kid. Everything's handed to him.
You watched the TV show Legion?
No.
The Marvel, I think it was Fox TV show Legion?
No, I kind of know of it, but I never saw it.
Okay, so there's one of his personalities is I think it's called like the bad kid or the mean kid. Okay. And it's like some fucked up book that his mom or dad supposedly possibly read to him, but who knows? This dude has schizophrenia because it's, it's Legion. It's Charles Xavier's son, who's horribly mentally ill. But it's one of his personas is this fucked up kid. He looks identical to that fucked up drawing. So every time I see him, I'm just like, oh, who made this kid? What the fuck?
Well, that's okay, because this kid, you're not supposed to like this kid. He's just kind of just a douchebag, rich kid. Everything's kind of been handed to him, so he sort of expects everything to be that way. And because he's been such a bad kid, Santa gives him some coal. And because of this, he's not taking more. So he decides he's going to put a hit on Santa, and that hitman being Walton Goggins gets to go up there and take on the job. And it's like just that alone, it's like, oh, I'm fucking there. This sounds like everything I want. You know what I mean? And
right.
This is one of those ones we've been talking Mel Gibson. Like each time me and Josh seem to go on a podcast rant, there's always some Mel Gibsons. We're like, we got to do a Mel Gibson movie. I'm like, well, let's do fucking Fatman. We can do it like Christmas style, because I kid you not. This movie to me is probably what I consider my perfect Christmas movie. I fucking love it. It has what I like in it. It gives the Christmas spirit, but I still get blood and guts and violence.
Well, I think it's because the nearest comparison you can make would be Violent Night with David Harbour.
Yeah.
It's the closest comparison, but they're completely different movies. Where Violent Night is Home Alone style hijinks.
Yeah, mixed but John Wick action.
Yeah, exactly. So you have that. Fatman's different. Fatman's like, because I haven't seen it since you told me to watch it, and I think it was in 2020 or 2021. It was a while back.
Yeah, because that's what I remember. It was one of those movies that popped up on my Amazon for like 2000 or whatever, 2020, and I was like, I'm like, I just paid $6.99 for it. I'm like, I don't care. This sounds so fucking interesting. I know Mel Gibson needs my money. I don't want him going home hungry tonight. So, so I'm gonna make sure I get this. And then lo and behold, I was like, oh fuck, this movie was on my top 10 list of that year. I fucking love the living daylights out of it, and I've been really wanting to watch it again. I didn't realize it's been this long, but. Yeah, this one has a lot of depth in it too. Like that's the thing, is there's a lot going on in this film.
It's more of a drama to me.
Yeah,
it's not so much an action movie. You have Walton Goggins where he's doing all this crazy. He murders a fuck ton of people in the movie, but the flick is more of a drama to where it's like Santa. It's Santa's trying to get his groove back, and the groove he gets back, for better or worse, is not what all the naughty boys and girls are needing.
Well, what I like too is it's like Mel Gibson plays like a blue collar, hardworking Santa who's been at it for years, and I like because it's like it has all the magic and whimsy, but then it treats it very like it's kind of almost like ground level. And he's just got this kind of tight knit factory up in the North Pole area, which is like the tip top of Alaska, and
he's in Canada.
Well, no, because he goes to it starts in Canada, but then he goes into Alaska because when Walter.
Oh, so he's just taking the highway through. Okay.
Yeah, because I thought about that too when I was watching it again. I was like, oh, maybe he's at the tip top of Canada, but then he goes into Alaska because there's like a CHP guy that's sitting there, or I guess they're not called CHP in Alaska.
Right.
There's a California reference. What do you call him?
He's some Alaska trooper.
Yeah, an AHP cop is up there, and he's like sleeping.
Right.
And he's not watching Walton Goggins drive up there, but so you just got this cool like blue collar Santa, but like the thing is because there's more and more like naughty kids and people, people are just not being as good as they are. It's like business is down. And so they're having a hard time keeping Christmas afloat. So Santa has to take on these government jobs where he gets his elves to literally make like, chipboards and stuff for like fighter jets.
Right.
So they can get their government like, allowance to keep the slave.
Santa's workshop is getting government subsidies.
Yeah, literally. They keep it afloat.
What was it? They were building something for like it was like an F-94 fighter jet or something like that.
Yeah, they're building like the computer chips and boards for it.
Right. So I mean that part was really interesting, and like the blue collar aspect, like you can't, emphasize that enough. No. I mean, it is, you see this picturesque farm with like a little tiny humble house and then the barn, and that's basically Santa's workshop. It's like the shittiest secret underground facility, and like nothing spectacular whatsoever.
No.
Even the elves aren't spectacular. They're like barely even elves. They're just like, 5'4"?
Yeah, 5'4", little pointy ears. They just eat sugar all day long. Like that's the thing about it is it plays this kind of like grounded in reality, realistic. But then you can kind of tell like, well, there obviously is some kind of magic infused in here because of course Santa's hundreds of years old. The elves live a lot longer and so on like that. And it just has that kind of stuff in there. Like, and even like, of course Santa uses his reindeers and everything like that, but it never like shows them flying. No. You just see them kind of like in their stables. You kind of just more sort of hear about it. But I kind of like the way that it plays it out. Like it plays it sort of down, and almost leaves that like, is it real or is it like what's going on here? And so on.
Is this even Santa?
Yeah, but then as the movie goes on, you go, oh no, it is. It's totally that, and the government even like knows it, and they want to, they like to strike a deal with him and everything.
Well, it's kind of crazy too, like with going with the blue collar aspect. He's got all the moans and groans and bad back moving. What you would think of like some blue collar guy that's just been working his tail off for year upon year with like, little to no thanks whatsoever, but like the little reminders that he's like a mythical being. Like my favorite line in the whole movie when the government pallet falls over and they're struggling to pick it up and Santa comes up there and he's just like, shut us out, boys, hold my coffee.
Yeah, there's like four soldiers trying to lift it and they can't get it.
Yeah, he just like picks it up, no problem. He's like, ugh, starts walking away. He's like, steroids.
Well, the thing about this movie too is it has like good comedy in it, but what I really like about it is the movie plays stuff really straight though. Like a lot of the stuff in there, it's like almost like it plays it very real and plays it very serious. Because even like, you get the Walter Goggins character, and he's this hitman guy and so on like that, and he's really into his job, and he's very serious about it. He kind of doesn't care about anybody else, and, he practices, and he takes it even real far. But the whole thing is his driving force is that he only got one present from Santa back in the day, and he had a real shitty, like, parents and so on like that, and was abused and all that kind of stuff. So it's almost
I think his parents died.
And I think, yeah, they died or something like that happens.
Yeah.
And he's got this hobby that he likes to do where he takes like his hitman money and literally buys other people's like toys straight from Santa Claus's workshop, you know?
Right.
Like it literally shows
Right.
it's like he's got this whole storage unit full of stuff, and this guy comes in and he's all like, well, you know, I needed to sell this baseball bat for like my daughter's, you know, she wanted to go to space camp or something like that. And he's like, you know, I don't know, how much is it worth to you? $2,000? He's like, I'll give you $900. And the guy's like, oh, well, you know, I mean, I really enjoy this. This kind of like was like one of my favorite things is like, take it or fucking leave it.
Right. Well, the whole way he was able to find Santa was due to the military, basically.
Yeah.
He never would have found him if Santa, you know, didn't have to go get Uncle Sam's, you know, money to build like smart bombs and shit.
Yeah, to do some weapons and so on like that.
Right.
And I even like the part too because once Walter Goggins is kind of hired and whatnot, is that he's doing like all that, he's going like the deep research and so on like that. But there's this part where like it plays it really straight, but when you sort of explain, it's just kind of funny. It's like he's looking at all these like old pictures of Saint Nick and all this kind of stuff and trying to piece together. He's got the maps all lined up and everything. There's like an old cartoon playing in the background of Santa Claus.
Yeah, and you know, I could see a lot of people not really enjoying the film because it didn't get the best ratings. I think it was like a 5.4 on IMDb or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, how many Mel Gibson movies have ratings super low? But anytime Mel Gibson's on screen, you know, he's amazing. He's perfect.
Well, and I think everybody fucking kills it in this movie. This is one of those ones, like, I kind of get it. Like, it's one of those movies I think some people would be too shocking to see this, like, kind of almost like a darker tale of Santa Claus and so on like that. That might throw them off. But, like, to me, I think everything in this one's like, dude, because you got Walter Goggins. He's already a super actor. Of course, Mel Gibson's like, the best. And even that little fucking kid, like, still, like, he makes you really believe that he's fucking like a dick. Like, even in the beginning, it shows the kid, and he's got, like, all these fucking awards on. He's got a little suit. It says best in show, like, 6 times on there or whatnot. And he goes to, like, his science fair at, like, his prep school and whatnot like that. And I think he's got some kind of energy device or something like that. Maybe that's what the whole, like, theme is. And then, of course, some other girl's got some solar panel one or whatnot, and she ends up winning, and he gets like runner-up prize, and he's so fucking pissed that he literally like hires Walter Goggins right in the beginning, and he's like, no, we gotta make this right. And so like Walter Goggins like drags this little girl into like this underground basement, and it's like they're gonna fucking torture her to tell her like, no, you go there and you tell them that you fucking cheated to get this, you know, and and then you and your family can fucking live, and your dog.
Which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. It's such a ridiculous scene.
But it's played so straight. I think that's what, once again what makes it work so well is that like it's hilarious, but like everything's played seriously.
Everything through the whole film. I don't know. Walton Goggins is amazing too, so it's not like he could phone in a bad performance.
Yeah. No, that most definitely. I think he just fucking he just kills it. And I think that's what makes it work so well is that like these guys are all doing a fantastic job. And you just really believe in Walter Goggins and him just being kind of the psychopath.
Right. I don't know. Second time watching it though, I was able to like pick out some of the just weird little things that, you know, maybe like I didn't pick it up the first go around. Like, okay, so the military's in there and they're, you know, basically protecting Santa's workshop because they're building, you know, smart bomb chips and fighter jet supercomputers and all this shit. They would have a little bit better security.
Yeah.
Like he has no problem getting there.
Yeah. The security's kind of incompetent. Like these guys were clearly just hired yesterday.
Right.
Like,
that part was a little strange.
Yeah, I kind of thought about that too, because he goes in there and he takes those soldiers out like literally no problem. Every single one.
No problem.
Yeah, even the fucking general guy gets fucking taken out really quickly. You know what I mean? And I guess it's more to make for an action scene, and I guess you got to have something in there like that. But like, Yeah, those soldiers. I thought the same thing too. I'm like, God, not a single one of these guys puts up a fight. I'll just say maybe he just gets the Metal Gear Solid drop on all these guys. I'm gonna kind of, suspend my disbelief a little bit right there.
Well, I almost feel like the movie was written around the ending. You know what I mean? Like, because I mean, like that's like one of the, I guess, like biggest, where it could be years later. That's what you're going to remember from the film, when he leans forward to the, shitty little kid who hired the hitman to kill Santa, and his eyes all fucked up, and it's just like non-existent anymore. It's like, the fat man has his eye on you, boy.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like it was written around that part. That's my feeling.
Well, yeah, because it literally is like, it's like, hey, Santa has been kind of almost like losing the feel on the Christmas experience, and he's almost at that point like, man, if I'm not feeling it anymore, should I just retire? Should I just trade it in or whatnot? And almost because of this incident, he learns that, like, you know what I gotta do? I gotta make more of an impression on these bad kids out there in the world.
Right. Right. I gotta show them one.
Yeah.
What does he say? Like, it's one of those things to where it's like, we ride Mel Gibson's dick every single time we get on a podcast together, but the way he delivers those lines where he's like, "I'll come while you're sleeping. I'll rip the covers off you, drag you from your bed." And you're just like, fuck. This is a fucking dark Santa.
Yeah, that's the thing. Santa's not taking any fucking shit. Well, even just like, I love just like you see Santa when like he's fucking like at the boxing bag and whatnot like that, and just training. And then even like he's out like in the very beginning, it just shows Santa out there target practicing and so on like that. Just just to let you know that this Santa takes care of business.
Right. No, it's a very odd Santa. Mainly because he doesn't seem like Santa at all.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Very interesting. I kind of wish I would have watched, what was it? So there's that one. I kind of wanted to watch Violent Night, like right after.
Yeah.
To kind of see like which one, like the violent Christmas movie Santa is my favorite. I didn't get there. I ended up watching Die Hard again because I was feeling the Christmas spirit.
You're the Christmas spirit. I watched some Lethal Weapon for my Christmas spirit. I went through a little marathon of all four of those.
I watched Lethal Weapon like a few days back. And there's parts that like struck out to me that really upset me and made me a little sad, where I was like, fuck, how'd I miss this before? But
like which parts and which one?
The biggest one that made me very disappointed, and my memory of the scene is so much greater than what I see now, and that's when Murtaugh and Riggs are at the shooting range and they're showing off, right? And Murtaugh does, draw fire with his old school revolver, hits him right between the eyes. Yeah, which is really, really fucking hard to do. And I'm like, okay, he did that. Like, I could kind of see him doing that. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And then Riggs gets up there, and you have the famous scene where he's like, shooting his Beretta 92 FS, and he puts a smiling face in the target. Yeah, from like 50 yards away. And I was like, okay, there's no fucking way. Like, first off, he has a shit grip on his pistol. Second, he's like blinking, fucking ridiculously with every shot. He's like, and like flinching because he's Australian. He probably doesn't ever fucking shoot guns. And then the fact that shooting a smiley face like that is really fucking hard. It's still a cool scene, don't get me wrong, but I was like, it kind of took the magic away from it a little bit. I was like, oh.
It goes that little bit extra where it's like, okay, it's a little bit past realistic anymore.
Well, I feel like they could have took Mel Gibson off to the side and be like, you're going to shoot mag after mag until you cannot flinch.
Yeah.
Like, no more fucking flinch. You're supposed to be this badass, like, Vietnam era
sniper,
dog, Delta, Navy SEAL, whatever the fuck you are, some crazy commando guy. Like, we can't have you, like, flinching and shutting your eyes with every fucking shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that part made me a little sad. The rest of the movie was pretty good,
Yeah.
but that one scene, I was like, oh, I
Yes.
forgot about this.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you realize it's like, oh yeah, he is an actor.
Yeah, yeah. It's just unfortunate because my memory of that scene is so much higher than what the actual product was.
Uh-huh.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You move on. You move on. You're like, okay, there's better parts in this movie.
Yeah, and that's how I sometimes as I use that suspend disbelief with movies a lot of times, and I try to work my way around, things and make and kind of like, fix it sort of in my brain of like exactly how things need to go, especially if they're off a little bit.
Right. Right. There's no belief that needs to be suspended there. He just, if
Yeah,
he didn't flinch so much, the rest of it would be like not as bad.
yeah, exactly. There just probably need to be a little bit more target practice going on beforehand and getting a little bit more used to it.
Right. Right. And I mean, it's pretty early, like, or not early into his career, but I mean, it's, like what films did he have before that other than like the Mad Max films?
Well, he still
Uh,
he has like that Attack Force Z and things like that. That World War II one,
right.
Gallipoli, of course. That
Right. But I'm sure not too many action films where it's like the camera's focused right up on him and he's shooting, either live rounds or blanks.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, no,
So,
exactly. So yeah, definitely one of those one. And I think that's one of those things too. Is like as time has gone on, I think they've gotten more dialed in at getting like that stuff really squared away.
oh yeah,
Even though
100%.
Yeah, even though in those older movies they always talk about there is some like military veteran guy on set that's supposed to be showing them how things are done, So I've always questioned it as like I'm like, did they just is that just how certain things were done back in certain time periods, or this guy just
I don't know, man, because it all depends on who your professional is that's on set, right?
yeah,
We're talking about the 90s. It could have been some motherfucker who was like, I was a fucking CAG Delta operator, Billy badass motherfucker. Like, I killed everybody. And then, like, he's just lying.
yeah,
You know what I mean? He could just be full of shit.
be like the dude on Tropic Thunder.
100%. a
Yeah,
100%. I mean, it's happening right now in like the veteran podcast, like ecosphere that's going on. Like anybody who's listening to this who knows Tim Kennedy, there's like a whole bunch of lying and not stolen valor because he was a Green Beret sniper,
yeah,
but he wrote a book and possibly, I don't fucking know because I didn't look into it that much, but possibly he lied about a bunch of shit that he
yeah,
did, embellished some stories quite heavily. So, I mean, that could happen on your movie set. You hire the wrong fucking guy,
yeah.
and Mel Gibson's up there flinching away, and he's like, "Hell yeah, brother,
Well, and it's that
good
one that
job."
Mel probably doesn't notice it. Maybe nobody else does right away. It might be one of those ones
No,
that it's already done and it's shot. It's like, well, it's not. It's too expensive to go back to fix his blinking. You know what I mean? Like one of those kind. You know.
right. And I'm
And
sure
that,
the director's not looking at him like right in his face, like, "Okay, shoot the gun."
yeah, yeah. He's focusing on the big picture and everything like that. And
Right.
that's why I want. If you think about yourself, it's like you didn't even notice that till what? You're like 50 of watch plus.
Yeah. Yeah. Way later, I'm sure I probably noticed it before and just was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen Lethal Weapon 1 in a while because I usually skip 1. I like
Really.
Lethal Weapon 1 a lot. Dude, Lethal Weapon 2 is my favorite. That's
Lethal
my
Weapons.
fucking, oh God. I go to that one all, I don't know why that's my
Yeah.
favorite one, but it has the best humor, in my opinion. So, like, the scene where I'm laughing just thinking of when Murtaugh shows up at the embassy and he's like, "Yeah, I want to travel to South Africa, brother. This sounds like a cool place." And they're like, "No, no, you can't go there." And he's like, "Why not? Why can't I go to South Africa? Because you're black."
Yeah. You're blick.
Oh fuck, it's so fucking funny. All the bad guys in it are hilarious. The intro action scenes are fucking amazing.
No,
Riggs has moved on mostly from like, you know, suicidal Riggs to where he's like, now I'm just certifiably crazy Riggs.
yeah.
So it's like the best, I don't know, in my opinion, it's like the best of the Lethal Weapon films.
Yeah. Well, you know, this thing too is when I just watched all four of them again. I mean, one, I will say they definitely all four of them are pretty solid. Like it's one.
Oh, they're all amazing. Yeah.
That if anybody tells me like, you know, which one they like most, it's like I could be like, yeah, I can definitely go with that. Even in watching it, like I really like 3 again when watching it because that was the one I used to think was my least favorite one, not by much, but just by a fraction. And then I was like,
yeah,
I don't know, I kind of fucking like 3 quite a bit.
That's the first one with Chris Rock, right? Chris Rock and Joe Pesci are in it.
No, Chris Rock's only in 4.
Okay. So
Joe Pesci's
it's just Joe Pesci.
Yeah, Joe Pesci's in that one. That's the one that's got what's her name? Renee fucking the one that he marries in number 4, which she kind of
Yeah.
In 4 she sadly has like almost no parts in it, but like in 3 she's definitely in there quite a bit. But it's got some great action scenes in there. Of course, you got it like where you know, Murtaugh kills Daryl and whatnot, and then they got fucking Boys the Men playing at the funeral, which now because of that Pizza Boys issue, I just fucking like bust up laughing every single time I see that because this is one of those ones I just think of that's like the Boys the Men song.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's
I would have to rewatch 3 again. It's been a while for 3.
Yeah, as I said, I put all 4 of them on just in a row for like a week or whatnot, and just went through them, and I was like, man, I fucking love. Every single one of them is fucking solid. And I think the main thing that makes those movies so good is that like they have like the same like crew like pretty much on all of them. I mean the writing changes. It's not Shane Black does the first one, and then I think from 2 and on it's a little bit different. But for the most part, it's Richard Donner directing it. You got the same producers. You got of course the same cast. I think that's what keeps it really solid the whole way through. Right.
And we'll possibly get a new one, which is fucking amazing.
I know. I've been waiting for that for a while. I'm like, because like both, you know, Danny Glover and Mel Gibson are getting kind of old there, you know.
Right.
So I don't care. I'll take whatever I can get from that. I'm like, I always like those old guys kicking ass movies. I'm fine. I love that genre.
Well, I mean, that's like Mel Gibson's new thing. I feel like.
Yeah.
You look at all his like new B-level movies. My favorite out of all of them, this like I guess this. Unfortunately, forced upon version of Mel Gibson because he's been still blacklisted from Hollywood.
It's so stupid.
It's so fucking stupid. Oh, no. He could direct, you know, Oscar-winning fucking movies, but, you know, we can't have him acting. No, we can't see that guy.
Yeah, but, or if he is, he can only be a bad guy like Expendables 3.
Right. Or, you know, a comedic role to where he's not, you know, a very big character like Daddy's Home 2.
Yeah, that's true, which he fucking kills it in that one.
He's the best. He's the best part of that. Him and John Cena as characters are like some of the best. Oh, fucking John Cena. That's absolutely ridiculous.
John Lithgow as well as the other dad.
Amazing, yeah.
That movie is one of those movies that, like, I remember, like, I laughed so fucking hard in that movie. It's just like, dude, I'm like, Mel Gibson, John Lithgow, like, I mean, then you got Marky Mark and, of course, Will Ferrell, but, dude, like, those two.
It was already a winning recipe, and then you add those two.
Yeah, and then you add, two fucking superior actors in there just to, like, totally kill it.
Well, and I feel like that's the problem with Mel Gibson, is when he does show up, you know, in an A-list movie, he just fucking steals it. Like Expendables, is it Expendables 3?
Yeah,
he's the main bad guy.
Because he fucking, like, when he's on screen, he fucking owns that movie.
He's the best. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's so fucking good. I never even said Bloodfather is my favorite out of, like I was sitting there thinking about, I was like, okay, get the Gringo or Bloodfather. Which one's better? And I was like, it has to be Bloodfather for me.
They're both fucking good too. Yeah.
It's amazing. So it's like, ever since that movie came out and I watch all these, you know, B-level Gibson movies. Yeah. I'm just like, dude, he's fucking, like, the movie could be the stupidest fucking premise. It could be terrible writing, all the other characters could be completely unbelievable and phoning it in, but Mel Gibson is just rock solid every single time.
Every time. No, it's 100% true. Like, I think that's the thing is like Mel Gibson could be in these movies and then they might be kind of, to anybody else, they might be kind of throwaway movies, but he's in them and he fucking delivers and he turns the movies. I think they'd be those kind of movies that'd just be kind of an okay movie, but because Mel Gibson's in it, like he really turns it up and you add that with some solid action to back it up and they're super fucking good. But sadly, they just get so underplayed because it's Mel Gibson and everybody's afraid to like put him on like the big screen again.
Right. It makes me really sad. If I was like a multi-billionaire, like if I had Elon Musk money,
Yeah.
I would 100% hire a writer and like finance my own film. I don't know if you watched the Russell Crowe film I told you to check out, the one where he has amnesia, he's a cop.
Oh no, you told me about that one. I still have yet to get to it.
Oh God. I would 100% cast, like a cop drama or they're retired cops and they're trying to like tie up loose ends. And it would be Russell Crowe and Mel Gibson. Those would be my leading stars and be like, okay, two old dudes, two washed up, old retired cops who haven't seen each other. Make it to where they left on bad terms when they retired and just fucking hate each other's guts, but they got to finish some loose end.
Yeah.
Oh, I want that movie.
No, that would be badass to just have those guys bickering with each other. Both of them fucking superior actors. Yeah, no.
It was the best. I feel like they're, for the style of movies they make, I feel like they're two of the best. They're two of my favorites for sure.
No, I always enjoy them for sure, no matter what, And it's just kind of like, literally, once again, like Mel Gibson kind of in Fatman and whatnot like that. Just how much he makes this like Santa Claus one, just blue collar Santa, super believable. Because it's that thing I think we said a few times, but it's like you kind of hear like the concept and so on like that, and it almost sounds more jokey than it really is. But then when you watch it, you're like, no, dude, I'm fucking feel for it. Like it's literally they're on like the last legs of like the Santa Claus Corporation in a sense, and they have to sort of take this job even though he doesn't want to. And even the government,
it's a drama.
Yeah, and then even like when they bring in like those like government bigwig guys that are like, hey, well, here's the thing, Santa. Why don't we do this for the next 15 years and we'll guarantee your pay no matter what? And Santa's just like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't care, and whatnot. He's like, just think about it. And they keep pushing it on him and so on like that. And then Santa's like, finally, he's like, well, you know what? Maybe I'll make sure I get some engine oil lube or whatever if I decide to change my mind.
Right. His relationship with his relationship with his wife through the whole film.
Yeah, Mrs. Claus, who fucking is always just taking care of him and just reminding him about like, well, you just got to kind of believe and make sure you do the right thing and so on. It will all work out.
Right. And like their shitty little bedroom, their old school style bed, and it's all bouncy. Like when he gets in it, you're just like, damn, Santa's hit rough times, man.
Well, I kind of like the way that everything's sort of designed in this movie, and I always kind of wonder if it's two things. One, if it's like sort of a budget thing where it's like, okay, this is sort of what we have to use, so let's do it. But like because of the way it is, I like that it has that look. Whereas like all this stuff, it's like he doesn't really actually need stuff too fancy. Like this stuff has served him well for the last like almost like 70 years. He could still kind of milk it, and that's what he sort of does. Like that's how I kind of picture it. Like he only upgrades things when he needs to. He's not doing it for the money or anything like that. He just needs his bare essentials, and he's good to go.
Right.
Well, because I like to say, like the little rich kid's house, almost, it sounds weird. The way that house looks doesn't look as fancy as it looks kind of like it's some normal kind of like older style house that they throw some things in there like that, like painting he's got and so on like that to make it feel a little bit more than it probably really is.
Hey, he could be in New York for all we know. So that house would be like, like $25 million or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. But it's probably been in the family for the last 150 years or whatever.
Touching on the drama aspect of it, though, like you could feel the tension in the film, like when he's talking to Seven, the head foreman elf.
Yeah.
And you could tell Seven just wants to be like, fuck you, Santa. Like, you haven't been the same. Like, you're not pulling your weight, but we're pulling our fucking weight. but he still loves Santa Claus, so there's that tension there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But then still the comedy. What happened to 1 through 6? We don't talk about them.
Yeah, but I like the way they kind of go about it. Like something happened to him. Is like we don't replace or we don't reuse numbers. You know what I mean? It would be dishonorable. And I like the guy's like he's like, I like that. That's good. You got a good.
That sounds efficient.
Yeah. Or there is that one scene where I like where they're sitting around the military guys with a couple of the elves, like Seven and someone else, and he's like, is this all you fucking eat? Like, he's like, yeah, we learned that the most efficient way is to have like simple carbs 6 times a day, just fucking a bunch of sweets, and we sleep for like a half an hour on 8-hour shifts or whatever. Rotating 24.
We're basically slaves to Santa.
Yeah, pretty much, and it works out because he loves us.
Yeah, it's a good life. We love it.
It's just that guy's like, it's not even a well-balanced diet. Like, I bet you these guys with those little elves would spring up and, if you put some protein and some, vegetables and stuff in there. And the elf's he's like, nah, this is how we learn to live longer. You know what I mean?
No, dog, cookies, bro. Mrs. Claus cookies the shit. It's an interesting movie.
It really is, but I don't know. I just like the whole way through, like just rewatching it again. I'm just like into it the whole way, like no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want. It's kind of hard to even put a pause on it because you're like, oh, it's so fucking good. There's no slowdown in the movie one bit. It's always interesting, and just the buildup of Walter Goggins kind of like going to track down Santa, figure out where he is, and then make his journey up north. And just even in the process, it's like, it shows him like there's like one scene where he goes to do the obstacle course for like the shooting range, and it's on Christmas Day or whatever, and he
poor dude.
Yeah, and he's like, wow, that's a new course record and stuff like that. He's like, well, you mind if I go home a little bit early so I can see the grandchildren, open up the presents? He's all like, you're being compensated well, aren't you? Well, yeah. Do you need more? No. Well, then run the fucking course again.
I know. Fucked up. Dude, and go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, you go ahead.
I was trying to look up what car. Okay. Yeah. So Walton Goggins is driving around. And I had to know because I was like, okay, what is the car he's driving? Because it's very iconic to this movie now. Second time I watched it. And I'm like, that's a dope car. So he's driving a 1978 Plymouth Fury. And I was like, that's the perfect car. Like, because all this shit's planned. They pick it and all that. I'm sure it wasn't the most expensive car, but I was like, how perfect is it? A kid who has this, grew up. He wanted to be a cop, obviously. That's why he had the police car given to him by Santa.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, he has a vendetta against old Saint Nick, and he wants to fucking murk his ass. Goes and becomes a mercenary. Is out there doing, wet jobs for little kids, kidnapping little Susie Rottencrotch and tying her up in a basement, threatening to kill her dog. Yeah. It's the perfect fucking car. So that was one thing I noticed from the second watch. I was like, okay, they picked like the perfect model car for this character.
No, yeah, I like it, and it's got a cool sound to it, and it's got kind of a dark look as well. Just everything about it.
Very ominous.
Yeah, very ominous. Everything fits in that retro thing because everything about this movie feels a little bit older than like. There's nothing really modern in this. Like in an odd way, the movie almost has this feeling like it could be an 80s movie in a sense, just by the way that everything sort of looks in it.
In a way, yeah. I mean, there's no like modern set piece in this entire film. I guess the most modern thing would be not even the military like equipment they're using because it's like old school military front loaders and Humvees.
Yeah. Well,
I guess they're weapons. The weapons is like the only thing, but even that could be old.
Yeah, the weapons and the fact that Walter Goggins, he's got like a Macintosh laptop and a few other little things there. Right. Even just his phone, but beyond that, the rest of the stuff, everything has a very old school look to it. Be the little kid I guess Walton Goggins is about the only thing because his apartment kind of has a modern, like that's the only thing that feels kind of modern is his apartment's
Right.
kind of modern. The kid is pretty much has old timey money kind of house. And of
Yes.
course, Fat Man Mel Gibson has his old rustic North Pole section. So everything
Even
else,
the guns he uses are like
yeah,
the shit.
yeah. It fucking even Mrs. Claus pulls out a fucking
Like a flintlock pistol.
flintlock. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just blasts the fucking Walton Goggins to finish him off.
Which that part was sick. I
Yeah,
was like, okay.
Yeah, I love the part too where Mel Gibson and fucking Walt Goggins finally go at it and whatnot. Because after Walt Goggins has already shot up all the military guys, he shoots like one elf. I think that's about the only. I was kind of noticing how many elves go down. Only one.
I missed that elf then. I was going to be like, no elves were harmed in the making of this film.
I don't know if the elf survives. Maybe he does. He just kind of. It looks like he sort of just he wings him and then he goes down, but you never see him come back up. It's
Right.
right when he's coming out of the barn again. There's like two elves running away, and he shoots one, and it just falls behind like the woodpile, and then I don't know. You never see anything on that later.
If it was Alec Baldwin instead of Walton Goggins, that elf would be dead.
For sure, it would not escape that fucking round. You think they're blanks, but there's always something inside.
I keep waiting for that movie to come out too. I'm like, when are we gonna get like some footage from this film?
Well, to me, I feel like put it out anyways. If you obviously had a bunch of people working on it and put that stuff there. I know it sucks that somebody dies, but let's be honest, that's not the first time someone's died in a movie, and it won't be the last.
The only thing I thought about that too, like since we're on this subject off of this stupid joke, people have been dying in the making of films. Like one thing I love about the Fall Guy movie with Ryan Gosling is like how much love they get to stuntmen, around that film. But dude, how many fucking stuntmen and just like random people get fucking murked making films, and then like it's a tragedy. Nobody get all upset about this, but one cinematographer gets fucking schwacked because of a tap with the ammo, and they lose their fucking minds.
Yeah,
And it's like it's horrible. It never should have happened.
yeah,
The armor should be like tarred and feathered as they should be, and liable for that type of mistake. But I mean, goddamn, man, people have been dying making movies, and like movies that you would never expect somebody to die. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I remember seeing certain things where it's like, oh yeah, here's this beloved film. Like 5 stuntmen died, making this movie, and you're like, this movie?
yeah. Well,
People
it's like
fucking died during it.
I think I can think of a couple ones. Twilight Zone, the old guy and like where they go back to they go back in time, or he gets trapped in the Nazi era, whatever section.
Mm-hmm.
I think he gets clipped by the helicopter in that, and literally gets his
Oh,
head
shit.
chopped off. Yeah, and so that movie still keeps going through. The Iger section with Clint Eastwood, I want to say one of the stuntmen fell off the side of the mountain or something like that during that.
Oh shit.
Didn't make it. Of course, Brandon Lee gets fucking shot in The Crow, and they still fucking release it.
Yeah, they did.
Another speaking. When you say Fall Guy, though, there's this movie. Have you ever seen? I have it back here, but it's fucking called Hooper with Burt Reynolds.
No, I have not.
And this movie posters, I love this cover right here. It's fucking badass. But that one's all about stuntmen, and it's from 1978. This film is fucking fantastic, and it's one of those ones where it kind of just shows the life of a stuntman. Burt Reynolds is kind of the slightly older guy, and there's a young buck coming in who's kind of like showing off and everything like that. But they end up kind of being friends. And then of course there's the guy who's the real old stuntman guy who hangs out there. And these guys just get together after movies and just have a good old time and, do their stunts and so on. Got Sally Field in it and everything there, too. And it's kind of a mixed match, kind of partial drama, partial comedy, but just a lot of great stunts, too. And just the fact that Burt Reynolds' character is like, I'm going to give it one more go because I just want to, really make this stunt go for this film. And almost like that one where, like, I don't care if I don't make it, but this is what we're going to try out.
I'll have to check that out.
But yeah, it was one of those ones where I ran across it once, watched it, was like, holy crap, this is fucking good. And then I've watched it a few times since.
So it's the prototype for Fall Guy, basically.
Yeah, it's like it's like, in a sense, you'll watch it and go, oh shit, it's like the much better version of Fall Guy.
I really enjoyed Fall Guy. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that's what I mean.
So
I feel like
I'll have to check this out.
yeah, you'll watch this one, you probably be like, holy fuck, this one's really fucking good. And it's old school, so like the stunts are super real and everything like that. And I think it's done, if I'm not mistaken, by the same director as the Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh well, already I'm sold.
Yeah, so
One of my favorite movies of all fucking time.
I know I got my little Smokey and the Bandit fucking car up there too. Of course, got to have that.
Right.
But yeah, it's super good.
Back in the glory days, stunts like Roger Moore's stunt double who ran across them live gators, making James Bond.
Well, that's always my favorite part about old movies is that you know that like somebody had to do like whatever stunt it is, even if it looks kind of corny, something happened there. There's no CG, you know what I mean? Like somebody did it, you know, and that's almost something you don't get too often anymore, which is kind of a bummer.
No. And it's weird because like you watch like modern movies now, especially like 'cause I want to say like no, because you have Hulk Hogan with I'm blanking on the movies he made. I was gonna say yeah. So you have these dudes that come over from like an industry like pro wrestling. So it's kind of like you think like you're gonna have these athletes doing their own stunts, and then you find out a lot of them don't do any of the fucking stunts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like one of those things where it's like, you know, movies are weird to me where, you know, it's a source of entertainment and, you know, I value them greatly, but there's so much shenanigans. Like when you like look at some of the casting decisions, like I see John Cena, I'm like, dude, John Cena's a super athlete. He's going to do like every fucking stunt. No, he probably doesn't. He probably doesn't do shit.
Well, the thing too is nowadays we can find guys left and right that are probably of the similar build to John Cena that can fill in. Because that was like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Conan the Barbarian had to do all his own stunts. Because back then there just wasn't anybody else that looked like him. So it's like that's why he gets attacked by the dogs when he can't make it up the Rock the one time.
Right.
Right. You know, and a couple of those other things there too, because he really went all in. I mean, as time goes on, of course, he does have a stunt double later on in movies. You know, because you can find somebody can match the build of Arnold and so on like that. And I get there's some things that's like if one thing goes wrong, it like really can fuck the budget of a movie up just because of a small accident. So you got to be a little bit picky and choosy on how you're going to go about it. But it's like that thing where like you're not going to get that same thing like fucking Jackie Chan movies and so on like that, where here's your main star, the fucking bread and butter of everything, and he's like sacrificing himself left and right.
Yeah, it's not an Asian action flick to where you're like, no, these motherfuckers are doing everything.
Yeah. Well, even in Jackie Chan movies, he can't get insured. He has to pay for everything out of pocket. So if somebody gets hurt, he just takes care of it because nobody will insure him.
Yeah. My whole point though is like, scouring YouTube late at night, and I come across like an Orlando Bloom interview, and he's talking about Lord of the Rings, how he's like the elves have a lot of physicality to them. So I tried to bring that to my performance when I did all my own stunts. And I was like, bitch, you did not do any of them fucking stunts. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, exactly. If something really dangerous happened, they CG'd you. I've seen that.
Yeah, I'm like, get the fuck. You hit surfboard down fucking stairs, bitch.
It's all you had to do is you make like the jump action and the rest is filled in between.
Right. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to even say at this point. Like what angry point I'm trying to make. Every actor should be Tom Cruise is what I'm saying.
Tom Cruise sacrifices himself for our entertainment because you know what? That's his duty.
He can be as fucking weird as he wants to be. Like I fucking love that man. He's the guy that I always call. I call him Mr. Reliable because he pretty much never has a bad movie. You know? No, he actually does fucking crazy stunts. Like he's a fucking maniac.
Yeah, I feel he's all in on movies. That's the thing.
I love the story that Matt Damon tells about Tom Cruise, where he's like, asking about. I think it's like Mission Impossible 3, where he runs down the building.
No, I think that's
Is that there's only like 9 of them now?
Yeah, the Saudi Arabia one. I think that's Ghost Protocol.
Is it Ghost Protocol? I don't fucking remember.
Because number 3 is the one that's got what's his name in it, where he's like, I'm gonna find her and I'm gonna kill her. She's gonna fucking die. What the guy?
Oh, the dude who, Philip Seymour. No,
Hoffman. Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he makes a great villain in that one.
Oh, he's fucking amazing. But Matt Damon telling the story about having dinner with Tom Cruise, talking about that stunt, and Tom Cruise is like, I've been waiting to do it for years. And he's like, well, how'd you go about it? And he was like, first, I go and I describe it all, and I'm with the stunt coordinator, or like the head stunt coordinator guy, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, yeah, so I want to do this. I want to be this high up. I want to run down. I'm going to be at the end of the rope, and I'm going to swing into the building. And the stunt coordinator's like, there's no way. You can never do that. That's not allowed. So the second thing I did was find a new stunt coordinator. I'm like, God bless you, Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Well,
get all those beatings out of you, bro. We need you.
He's probably just got enough Scientology faith that keeps him going.
He has all his medals of, L. Ron Hubbard freedom. It just, keeps him strong, keeps his body lean.
Yeah, exactly. It just keeps him youthful. You know what I mean? Just that alien like magic of some kind.
It is alien magic. Thetans, dog. He's got them thetans.
Yep.
He's getting rid of them.
Yeah. Everything. I feel everything on Scientology is riding on Tom Cruise. It's like he pretty much can do no wrong. He's pretty much like Jesus of Scientology.
He basically is Scientology at this point.
Yeah, because I feel once Tom Cruise goes away, nobody's gonna fucking care about Scientology anymore.
I mean, no one really cares anymore.
No.
Right?
I felt South Park kind of put a big damper.
Yeah, I was about to say that. South Park was like, the coffin nails in Scientology, to where everyone's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Those people are weird.
I remember when I was in San Francisco, there used to be a Subway I'd go to, and there's a Scientology like office right above it. So like, of course, you always had to talk to the guy as you're walking in the subway. You're like, I just want a sandwich, literally. But of course, the guy's like, do you know where you're going in life? I'm like, yes. Do you know what you want in life? Of course. And he keeps going on. Pretty much, I'm like, I want a fucking foot-long sandwich.
I want a foot-long BMT, dog.
Yeah, exactly. I know everything I want in life. He's like, well, I guess you do. Go on ahead. I'm like, thank you. Yes. I'm like, wow, I outbeat the Scientology guy just by wanting a Subway sandwich that bad.
Dude, I'll never forget being in high school and going to the Word of Life church, and just like, I'm wandering around the campus with Casey. And we were looking for somebody. I can't remember who the fuck we were looking for. And like some dude like pulls up on a golf cart, and he's just like, oh, can I help you boys? And I'm like, oh yeah, man, I'm really interested in your organization here. Like, this is because I'm sure you've been to that campus. It's pretty big.
It's huge. And you know what's the interesting thing too is there's only 3 of those churches in the entire world. So it is almost like a cult-like experience.
It is a cult, bro. So 100%. So I'm like, I'm really interested in your organization. The dude's like, oh yeah. And he starts talking to us, and Casey's like, yeah, man, but I keep hearing a bunch of strange things. And then I just blurt out, I'm like, I want to know where the cave is where you hide all your guns for the end of the world. And the dude's just like, get the fuck out of here.
But yeah, no, they have some like bunker filled with guns, and they got a bunch of like, I'm trying to think what kind of cars. They bought a bunch of really kind of like one of those odd like 80s cars, Studebaker.
They're all cars with no chips in them.
Yeah, because
if an EMP happens.
Yeah, I think they're all Studebaker cars, like one of those really fucking weird, like nobody would ever get, but they have a bunch of them so they can circulate the parts and everything.
Yeah, and like all carbureted, all that stuff, like everything, to where we could survive an EMP attack. So I met a dude who is a logger, and they cleared out a section out across Tuolumne River or something like that. I can't remember where the fuck he said. But they cleared out a section of trees, and then he's like, small town. He's like, my brother-in-law has like his own company, has his own heavy equipment. They can help you grade your road out here. So that dude shows up, right? Grades the road and like creates a road into the hillside. And so homie talks to his brother-in-law, is like, yeah, where does it go? And he's like, it goes to like basically the the side of the hill. That's where they wanted me to stop. So years go by, the same dude goes out because they need him again, like his services. There's now a full functioning cave that they built into the side of the mountain. And he's like, what are you guys doing here? And they're like, please don't ask any more questions about our structure. And you can have our business. So, he kept his mouth shut, but he was like, that's fucking weird. Like, a church paid for trees to be cleared, paid for me to build a road, and then build more area, like extend the space around the mouth of this cave that is fully concreted in. So it's like a bunker like the president would use. And you could drive multiple cars in. Yeah. And
nuclear.
That's all the stories I heard about it. After that, like, everything became pretty hush hush.
Yeah. It's a strange one. I actually known a couple of people that, because we obviously went to school with people that like went to that church and whatnot, so you kind of know of it. And it is a weird one. But I think there's also levels. I think like people like also like, you could go to that church and not know, not be like fed any of this information. And then I think it gets deeper and deeper and deeper as you go further up this thing.
I just want to know if they have like a Joseph Seed Far Cry 5 character who's like, the endings are coming. The great collapse, my brothers.
I have a feeling there's totally something like that going on there. It's probably one of those ones too. There's probably secret like church meetings and so on that you have to be like in the real inner circle to like see what's going down.
If I cared enough, I always thought about going and trying to find it.
Yeah.
Like you just interview enough people, I get my Metal Gear Solid sneaking suit.
Yeah.
throw on my night vision and my clip-on thermal.
Yeah.
And go exploring, go see what the fuck's up. But, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
Have my bones like buried out in the woods.
Yeah, exactly. Because they probably have this all planned out for when anybody tries to, come spy and track them and so on.
It's really interesting. If you have any listeners who are from like other parts of the country, they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, everybody's
what are you talking about?
Everybody's got their own local cults.
Yeah, everybody's got their own local cult with, a doomsday bunker. It's no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. If anyone decides they want to check this out, you could start with Miwok. That's where the core church is at.
Right. It's weird. That's a weird one.
It is. I always thought it was strange, I always just think there's a one time I remember because there's one girl that I used to work with that was from there or whatnot, and all of a sudden we were getting like pizza or something like that with a handful of us, and she looked, and it's like we're standing in line. There's like the pizza dude there, like maybe a round table or something like that, and she's like, "Hey Spencer, is anything different?" And I'm like, "What?" And then she like points down at like she's wearing pants and stuff like that, and I go, "Oh my god, you're wearing pants!" And I look at the guy like at the round table. I'm like, "I've never seen her in pants before like that." He's probably like, "The fuck?" I'm like, "But no, because it was the first time they ever were allowed to. Girls were wearing pants. They always had to wear dresses."
Yeah.
It was like, what the serious fuck?
The worker is probably like, these people have a weird relationship.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I thought.
Fucking weird. I'm fucking quitting this fucking job.
Yeah, fuck it. No more round table for me. I'm out of here. It's on the up and up.
Dude, I feel so bad for the workers during the buffet at Round Table. I'd go there with like when I did utility locating for UtiliQuest.
Are you talking about like when they dropped the special ed kids off to that buffet?
Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh. The dude's face. Because, like those cinnamon sticks, people go through those fuckers, right?
Yeah. So
he just made it. People are asking for it. And he's just like, there's like little kids there, like little like 5-year-old kids like cinnamon sticks. Yay, I've been waiting. And, one of the special ed people walk up and he's probably like close to 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's probably like 6'2", like he's a big boy.
Yeah,
right?
Probably 47 years old.
Yeah. Dude just slid the cinnamon sticks there. He's still standing right there. I'm up there like at the salad bar or something like that. And I look over and the kid, I call him kid, but he's probably like fucking 40.
Yeah, it's like
He grabs the pan that just came out of the oven. The heat did not bother him. And he dumps it all on his plate and he goes, oh, Cinnamon says, yay. And the little kid like has her plate and she's like, oh. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And you see the worker and he just like watches him walk away, just complete disbelief, mouth agape. Looks over at the little, he's like, I'll make another one. She's all sad.
I hate to sort of say it, but like they do that with those like poor special ed kids. They take them to places,
the watch program, yeah,
where they know they could like get free shit, and they just let them run rampant, you know. And it's like, yeah, you got to sort of they need to explain that they can't just go up and fuck. It's for everybody.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like they're fucking.
Well, no one's watching them. They literally would drop them off at a shopping center and be like, you know, be back sometime.
Yeah, you know, yeah, they do that. They used to do that at Comic-Cons and stuff too. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you drop these guys off and they got like $5 each in their pocket and whatnot like that, and they're just like looking for free shit now, you know. And I feel kind of bad for some of them, but at the same time, it's like, dude, like, it's like your watchers are fucking you up right here.
Yeah, yeah. Did you ever like run into any like furries at Comic-Con? Have those like made their way into that scene yet?
Not real. The other time is like, I still think about, remember that time we went to the Anime Con and in Sacramento, and they had the furry convention thing or whatever there.
Yes.
And if it wasn't for the Cowboy Bebop reunion panel, we would have totally went to it. But like, it was like, yeah, let's not pass up the Cowboy Bebop one. Like,
what was it? It was a puppy cereal pool party or something like that.
It was something weird. I just remember it was like, oh, dude, this is gonna be fucking like the best people watching experience.
Yeah, ever. but Steve Bloom.
Yeah, but it was like yeah, it pretty much had almost everybody there. I think of the Cowboy Bebop American cast. So I was like, yeah, we got to go to that. But
I'm not gonna lie, that kind of ruined anime cons for me.
Yeah,
because I love anime, but man,
you see
anime fans are a little weird sometimes.
Yeah, you see how they kind of, well, I guess they've probably always been like that, but there's just enough of those, like, I guess you would say, kids that kind of like make you go, oh, there's sometimes a reason why you almost want to not tell people you're a fan of this, because if they think that you're associated with these guys here.
Well, now it's cool, which baffles me, but
yeah,
you know. There were some stinky crowds is what I was gonna get at. You know, we're weeding our way through, trying to check things out. And there was a couple times where I was like, fuck, I need some like smelling salts or something.
Yeah, you get those people where they got that old Subway sort of smell, like, you know, kind of like when I hate to sort of say it, like sometimes that's why I don't like comic book stores that have like card games and stuff there too, because then it just feels like it adds this extra layer of like, you know, bodily odor and weird food smells combined with it. So it's like one of those ones like, yeah. I used to like, if I know a comic book store does like game days and game nights or whatever, I kind of go like, I'd rather just have a comic book store that's pure.
Yeah. Well, they have to do that to stay afloat now.
I think so, because I hate to sort of say it, I think just standard comic book sales does not carry a business anymore.
Yeah, there's a new one in the local mall we have, and it's like it's not a straight comic book store. He has a ton of comics.
Yeah,
a fuck ton, but it's mostly like it's like a 60-year-old dude who's been collecting anything and everything comic book related. Mostly, I want to say it's mostly DC, and he has his storefront, which is like, you know, really badass shit, like framed panels and stuff like that, which I fucking dig. I'm like, this is badass. I want to check out all your frame panels, comic books, figurines and stuff like that. But the other side is his collection that you could pay him money and you could go look at everything. But
like
I was just
museum type thing.
Kinda. Yeah. It's like his personal collection. He has some really cool shit, but I kind of made him like, I don't know. He's really into DC, like really into Superman. Yeah. And what I've noticed, like Superman mega fans come in like two flavors. They come in like that cool fucking gym nerd like they're a nerd, but they're like into the gym, and they're like kind of like, you know, you see a lot of brothers that are that way. You know what I mean? It'll be like a black dude who's like really into Superman, but he's into fitness. He's like clean cut, you know, he's fit. You can have a cool conversation about multiple different topics, but he's a fucking nerd. Like, you know, any nerd topic, you're going to hit it right off. Or like, you know, it's the white dude who's like the exact same flavor, basically.
Yeah.
And then you have the Superman fans that are just like, they've never felt the feel of a woman. The only time they smell a woman is when she walks past him.
Yeah.
And I think he's kind of the former, even though he's married. But I'm talking to him, and he had a couple like issues of like the Punisher and shit like that. And so I was like, hey man, I was like, you got any more like prints, like these, you know, framed prints of, you know, the Punisher? And he had like maybe 3. And he's like, oh, I don't really like the Punisher. And I was like, you don't like the Punisher? Like, what's wrong with the Punisher? You like just not into Marvel, like in general? Like, what's the deal, man? I see a bunch of X-Men stuff. He's like, well, I like X-Men. And I was like, well, what's the deal with the Punisher? And he was just like, he's just too mean. He's too mean. And I was like, oh, fuck. Okay. We can't be cool. You're that kind of comic book fan where you're like, you know, he's going to sit there and he's going to talk your ear off for like 4 hours about the Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
And like, you know, oh, I'm going to tell you about all the principles of all the Lantern Corps. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, here we go. He probably doesn't like Judge Dredd either.
No, I didn't ask him about Dredd.
No, if you don't like Punisher, I'm going to take a real hard stab that you probably don't like Judge Dredd as well.
Dude, I fucking love Judge Dredd. I love the fact that it was a critique on America, but it like is so beloved by Americans that like all those fucking British fucks were probably just like, you know, whoever created Dredd was probably just like, I did not see that coming.
Well, that's what the British people always say. That they're always like, it's funny because we made him almost like a Nazi, and the Americans seem to love him because of that.
He's George Jane Executioner, and we thought that, you know, this would be a good critique upon American capitalism.
Yeah.
But those Yanks love him.
Yeah, he's pretty much, he's like fascist beliefs and all these things there, and he's very punishing. When they seem to think it's great. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't care. It's like, fuck it. Yeah, I feel like Judge Dredd, he's a perfect example. He gets shit done. That's what makes him. It's like, I want my police force to be like Judge Dredd. I want them to make sure that they, you know, take charge and, you know, do what's necessary. And I think Judge Dredd does the right thing. You know what I mean?
I just want to be Judge Dredd. That'd be fun.
I want to be a Dredd so bad. Yeah. Or a judge, I mean, yeah.
Dude, one thing he did have that was fucking awesome, he had a fuck ton in his collection of, God, why can't I think of what it's called? The dark DC comics, like the Tales ones, the horror tale ones.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think they're DC, right? Like where it's like basically like creature comics.
Well, those might be. Are you thinking that there is like those like the Tales of Suspense and Tales of Mystery?
I think it's.
Those are.
I think it's both of those. Are they? Okay. Well, he had a fuck ton of those, which I've never actually seen in person before. You know, I only ever saw it like randomly on a show talking about comics, and I'm like, oh, those are neat. He had a shit ton of that.
Yeah. And all this stuff in this cool collection, is it just for like museum's sake and not for sale kind of thing?
A lot of it, yeah. I mean, he had a lot of stuff for sale. A lot of the panel, like frame panels and, you know, comic book cover art, comic books, stuff like that. But like a lot of it was not for sale. A lot of it was just straight up, you pay him money and you get to look at a mega nerd's collection, which I enjoy that. I'm not going to lie. I enjoy the fuck out of that.
No, that still sounds cool, and it's just interesting because I don't feel like you see that too often, where someone's just like, "Hey, here's my straight up museum section." But
dude, yeah. I saw one before. It was I want to say Branson, Missouri. It was a dude who's like a huge toy collector, but he had GI Joes from their inception all the way to present day. Every version of GI Joe you could think of.
Yeah,
This motherfucker had it. Dude, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's totally badass. I like that.
Yeah.
No, it's just cool when you get to find those neat collections like that, and just when they have those kind of museum kind of sections built in and whatnot.
Right.
It's like one that I kind of like, even just reminds me museum wise, is it's in oh shit, what's that town in like the Bay Area? Fuck, where they have the big old concert arenas at Mountain View. They have a computer history museum that you can go there, and it's like it felt like it was like $10 to get in, maybe 15 at maximum. But like they literally have stuff from like literally like day one computers all the way on up. I mean, and they even have like a room where there's just a bunch of like old dudes that are like fucking running one of those like 1940s like computer terminals where it's just like just a bunch of machines chugging along and it's loud as fuck in there and so on like that. And
that's
like
rad.
it's so sick. And then they also have the I think it's like a PD whatever 1.8 or whatever they call it, but the machine that you can play the original video game Space Wars on, they got one of those, and it's literally like the size of a fucking bedroom how much this computer takes up, but it's in there.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's so cool. And plus, and then they have like, in a sense, like old school computers, as in like calculators from like China and all that kind of stuff way back in the day.
They have Steve Wozniak in a glass case, just like, have a nice shiny apple.
You press a button for him to talk. It's just him in there.
Hi, friends.
You know what's the weirdest thing? Okay, Steve Wozniak, he makes the Apple One. He makes the Apple II. And those are like, he starts that whole kind of personal computer race and everything like that. Well, after that, this is the weirdest thing. You know what's the thing he invents after that?
What?
He's the first person to make the universal remote.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, isn't that? But it's one of those ones like you think about it first, and you're like, what? That's it? Just and then you kind of go.
That's why he's not hurting for money.
No, but like he's like I had my money and I was fucking chilling at my fucking mansion off this Apple II and everything like that, and I was kind of like, I have all these remotes. There's my satellite TV, there's my audio receiver, there's my Laserdisc player, there's all this stuff. He's like, what if that was just one remote? So he's like, so I went there and I started making it and everything like that, and I pieced together the universal remote and sold that.
It makes sense why he's not bitter.
No,
you know what I mean? Like money definitely helps.
Yeah, well, I think because he still technically works at Apple, so he just gets like a trickle.
Does he really?
Yeah, he gets a trickled in percentage every single time.
Dude, Apple's cooked now, though. Ever since Steve Jobs died, Apple's like, what the fuck did they make now other than like products that lock you in to like one product suite, and then you're stuck.
Well, because that's sort of the difference between the Steve Wozniak version and the Steve Jobs. Because Steve Wozniak was kind of like old school, like, hey, you make a computer, but you make it very open-ended. If somebody wants to do whatever they want, upgrade it once, it's their computer. That's kind of the whole part of it. Kind of that hippie thing where it's like, hey, man, it's all about fucking freedom and fight the power, and, you trade information, and that's what it's all about. And then Steve Jobs was like, no, fuck no. I'm the hippie that did LSD, but we're going to lock these fucking people in.
How do I make massive amounts of money out of this?
Yeah,
But I mean, he brought amazing products, though. Like the innovation Steve Jobs brought is incredible.
I've kind of come around to Steve Jobs. I remember when I was younger, I used to be like, oh, fuck that guy. He thinks he's better, than anybody else. He didn't do anything. He just fucking just told other people what to do. But then you see some of the things he does do, and like, yeah, other than like maybe his outburst and so on like that, it's like, he does piece together some stuff, and he does fucking reinvest his money back into the company. Like he literally would just take all his money, put it back into another thing, and not even take a fucking paycheck.
Well, he was like a guiding rod towards the creative genius within the room, right?
Yeah, because
he wasn't the guy building it, but he was directing that creative energy towards a path to where he would make fucking lots of money.
Exactly. He had the good direction, and I think that's the thing that is kind of the takeaway. And taking in a sense, then he had his next. For example, he gets kicked out of Apple. He goes and he makes Next computers, which that computer was you had to be kind of rich to have that. But that's what Doom and Quake and all that stuff were made on, were Next computers, because they made all that money off of Wolfenstein. So they went out and bought their Next computers, which were perfect for them because they were going to program everything themselves. But he takes that Next computer, and that's what turns into the modern Macintosh in the 90s. And when he comes back, and he didn't take a paycheck for 3 years, so it's that's pretty badass. He just shows up and
That is pretty crazy.
Yeah. He after like 3 years, he asked for a private jet. Was the only thing he wanted.
Well, it's like, what other fucking crazy person do we have now? Like, the only one that exists anymore is Elon Musk. And I'm like, I'm not going to lie, I'm getting kind of sick of Elon.
He's definitely everywhere, but I don't know. For me, I'm like one of those people. I'm like when people talk bad about him, it's like, why? It's like, dude, I like this guy. He's all the same things I like. He likes space. He likes Mel Brooks movies. He fucking is like plays Diablo.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
He likes fucking.
yeah, it's like one of those things. It's like, shit, I'm fucking doing this podcast right now on Starlink. It's like, you know what I mean? And when I pay my Starlink bill, I'm going, hey, I'm paying to go to Mars. That's literally what that money's going towards.
Right. Now I'm sick of fucking seeing him everywhere.
Well, yeah, he is kind of like, you know, he's doing the celebrity thing of like, I'm going to be in, you know, every pocket that I possibly can be in, you know.
Right.
But then again, I give him credit too, 'cause he's kind of in like that same way where he just reinvests his money back into stuff. It's not like he's, you know,
Right.
some of those guys kind of take that money and they're just like what are you doing with it? You don't need all this money. Like,
I'm going to buy all the farms because I'm Bill Gates.
yeah, you do fucking weird Bill Gates shit. Like, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I like a Windows computer, and I guess I'm using a Windows computer now, even though he's been, you know, long since gone from there for a while. But like, yeah, Bill Gates does some weird shit nowadays that I'm not too sure about anymore.
Yeah. That's
like,
very weird.
Bill, how about you just go back to programming DOS?
Yeah. Give me a snake too.
Yeah, you know, one of those things. But but yeah, it's at that point where you do kind of have that, and you know, but as long as somebody's like reinvesting stuff, I think that's kind of the best thing, you know what I mean? Just like, yeah, make in space, in my opinion, I don't know what's more important than space. I can't think of anything else more. I think that is literally the most important thing that any money could go into. Even when I was a kid, I used to feel like, why don't they just put all the money into like NASA? Let's get there as fast as possible.
Right. I mean, Musk is basically NASA at this point. That part is undeniable.
Yeah, it's between that or you got the Amazon version of it.
Right. Well, I mean, is Bezos even actually going into outer space, or is he just like, I don't know. I would actually love to hang out with Jeff Bezos because I think it would actually be a fun hang. Because I'd be like, yeah, dude, let's do TRT and go to the gym.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go, bro.
Let's do it. Well, he's pretty much like Lex Luthor. Like that's what I feel like Jeff Bezos is like. He became Lex Luthor because he's fit. He's got like the power and all the companies and all that stuff like that. If he just doesn't have a Superman to fight, that's the only thing.
Oh yeah. Well, because think of like the crazy things he's done. Like, I had a super yacht built and there was an old historic bridge in the way, so he was like, "Here's $1 billion. Dismantle the bridge and then rebuild it."
And my favorite part about it all is like, how do you make this fortune? Used bookstore.
Yeah, right.
That's the best part when you really think about it. It's like that all came from a used bookstore, not even a brand new bookstore, a used bookstore.
Right.
And then I feel like the fun part is we're at that point where like, we're old enough to remember. Like, you remember buying stuff on Amazon when there used to only be like 4 categories?
Yeah.
Because that was when I first bought on Amazon, like in '98 or whatever. It was like there was literally just books, movies like VHSs and DVDs was kind of a brand new thing, CDs and cassettes, and then I remember video games was just another one that was like the new category at the moment. Was like,
that's what we lost Pro Game Exchange, so it was like, okay, if I wanted to get a game that GameStop didn't have, Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon.
And then I got banned from the bookstore that was in the Junction because I made inappropriate jokes about Jesus Christ while in the bookstore very loud, and so they banned me. And the lady literally says, she's like, "I have never banned anybody from my store, but you're not allowed here anymore."
It would be like, well, I guess it's the first time for everything.
I can't remember what I said. Probably, one of my old catchphrases was "Jesus fuck my butt." They had a book I wanted, and I yelled that out in the store and got banned.
You do that like on the back of a T-shirt, like in big bold letters, so you could like wear it around like concerts and so on.
Right. There's definitely certain crowds that would enjoy that.
Yeah, I think so. You know what I mean? Because I feel concerts are always the perfect places to have offensive T-shirts. People.
Yeah, if it's a Latino gay bar, then I might be in trouble.
Yeah, hey Zeus.
Yeah, it might be a little dangerous.
But yeah, but beyond that, no.
That's what you had to do though. If you wanted a book, or if you wanted like a video game, like a used game or something that was hard to find, that's what you had to do. You had to go to Amazon. Like you said, they had almost nothing on that website at
No,
that point.
it was literally just media stuff. That was all it was for a good while. Like it felt like literally up to like I would say like the early 2000s, it was still just generally media stuff. It wasn't like they hadn't even added anything else, you know. Yeah, it's like you went to eBay at that time period if you want a bunch of other weird stuff, but you're still buying used things from people's houses. It wasn't like eBay selling brand new stuff like they do now.
Right. Right. You were taking a risk.
Yeah, but and that used to be the fun. I miss those days at eBay when like the bidding wars and all that stuff used to happen, because that's like such like a gone thing. Like nobody really does bids anymore. They don't really have
Dude,
options.
yeah.
And,
I miss the Wild West days of Craigslist.
yes.
That was funny.
No, yeah, there was always that was another one too, where like, yeah, you would go on there and there would be so much interesting stuff that you could kind of find across there and whatnot, and just some stuff is like, is this real? What is this? Yeah.
Dude, you remember my brother's old truck that he had? It almost looked like a fucking monster truck.
Yes, I do remember that one.
Okay, something broke on it, and he was trying to find like this exact part. So he went on Craigslist, and so he's like contacting the person, right? And it was like a middleman, so it was already really weird. And they're like, "Well, Bob doesn't have any service, but here's his address." So my brother goes out there. It's in fucking Jupiter.
Oh yeah, so Jupiter, for anybody who doesn't know, is literally like out in the middle of nowhere. Hills have eyes, almost feeling. Wrong turn. You are deep out in the middle of, especially back in the day. Like nowadays, you could almost say like because of solar panels and internet access and so on, you could actually be kind of there. But back then, it was super fucking remote.
Yeah. So he had to go out there and like knock on the dude's fucking door and be like, "Hey, I'm here for this part." Oh, good times.
Well, there's one house that's out in that Jupiter area that I remember it used to always remind me of the Wrong Turn house, because the dude literally had like 50 fucking cars out front.
Yeah.
Like, and I was just like, where do you get all these cars? You know what I mean? Like, what has brought these all to you?
Speaking of weird Hills Have Eyes things, the weirdest thing I ever came across in Tuolumne County, I was on my Enduro and just kicking it down random ass roads and shit. And I found this like, I want to say there was like a fire or something, right? So they brought out the tractors and everything, and they cleared out this fire road that was like at one point just gone.
Yeah.
And so they remade it so they could get to the fire. So I'm beating it down this path, right? And then I find this trail, and I'm like, okay, like I'm way fucking out. I have no cell phone service. I'm like, it's a little sketchy, but I need to know what's down here. So I'm going down this trail for like maybe like 30, 40 minutes. And it starts to open up, and there's all these junk cars. On every fucking tree around were burnt up dolls' heads nailed to the trees. And like curiosity won out. So like I get off the bike because I'm like, I gotta be quiet now because this is sketch. So I turn the bike around so it's facing back towards the trail so I could get the fuck out of there. And I'm like walking down to where I could see a house way down the way. And it was super fucking like just the house was like not in good condition.
Yeah.
And then I started to get scared and I left. But
yeah, sometimes it's best not to find out.
Yeah, so there's weird places in this world that we're not meant to go to.
Yeah, exactly.
And that used to be Jupiter at one point, but like you said, I haven't been there lately, but I'm sure
been there, drove that far out in a while. That used to be kind of like a one where you're just like, oh, you want to go take a drive, back in the day, like you could spend 2 hours and drive all the way out there.
Or hey, you want to go buy some meth?
Yeah, I think that's what it used to be. I think it sounds weird. I bet you it's one of those places that like there's probably some rich people that have like bought out a lot of land there. And once you put your solar panels and you put all your generators and all that stuff, it would
right.
Modern internet and so on, you could make it pretty much like
I mean, you get a well, get Starlink and solar power, and you're good to go.
Yeah, you're 100% off the grid. You know, you can live like you're Jesse Ventura, but you're still in California.
I live down in Mexico making tortillas.
Yeah, down at the Baja.
Down at the Baja.
It made me happy though that Jesse Ventura came back to be on.
I was going to say that he showed back up at wrestling as a commentator.
Yep, on the Saturday night one, and it was like I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. I'm like, we need more Jesse Ventura in wrestling again, and that thing was actually.
I wanted him to be Trump's VP personally, because that would have just been so fun.
I think that would have been great because, I like the Jesse Ventura stuff that he's got. And I don't care. Even if he is one of those guys who just talks for days and doesn't let anybody else in, I think that's what makes it kind of hilarious.
I think he's fucking so funny. He's such a character.
I like his book or whatever from back in the day when he was governor or whatnot. And it's like, he had some good points in that. I was like, yeah, that seems kind of legitimate. The one that I always liked that always sticks with me is he had like an idea that like, instead of having like a work tax and so on like that, instead you just had slightly higher sales tax. And the whole theory behind that is that everybody has to pay sales tax. So doesn't matter, the American citizens have to pay it, tourists have to pay it, illegals have to pay it. So you're always getting money coming in no matter what. And it's not like one of those ones, there's a lot of people that kind of skimp out on it because they're getting either paid under the table or something like that. It's like, no. If you have the sales tax just slightly higher, you can pay for everything just through that alone. I'm like, I kind of like that. And then you don't really get, and then if you're somebody who doesn't want to really buy anything, you want to just save for a bit, you're not really getting punished for like, getting taxed on your wages.
Right. I just fucking hate taxes.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're starting to get old, and you're just like, fucking taxing me.
Yeah, taxing you for all kinds of stuff and all that things. Yeah. They're like that one. You need like a little bit of them because there's certain things like if you just had like no taxes, then like the roads would never get fixed and anything like that. You'd just be fucking like Mad Max Wasteland all of a sudden. But yeah, there's a certain point where it's like, okay, they need to be dialed in a little bit more. I always feel like if you work for some of those like tax bracket sections, they need to be sort of more like you're doing like almost like a. Not necessarily like a volunteer job, but like you're doing it for like the good of like mankind, not for a fucking huge check. If you want a huge check, go make your own business.
Who the fuck does that anymore?
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, even when we were trying to build our gym, that's when I was like, oh, okay, like this is bullshit.
Yeah,
because that was even an organization that was supposed to be like for the good of mankind.
Yeah. And we're getting the little warehouse section going and whatnot.
Yeah, that always made me sad because that could have been the birth of Thor's hidden gem, and it could have been could have made something great there.
No, I think that almost could have worked out. It was one of those ones. It was close but no cigar kind of thing.
Well, yeah, it was because it wasn't just me and you.
Yeah, I think that's it. You sort of need kind of just a few people just to make it work out totally, but
right.
But yeah,
that's because we don't have Mel Gibson from Fatman in our corner.
No,
he's got that blue collar work ethic, and he's like, "Yeah, Christmas."
Yeah, running them elves, the way that they need to.
We're gonna build it back better.
Yeah, through sugar cookies and yeah. Well, they have to build up because fucking Walton Goggins ends up blowing that place up in the movie too. Just to top it off, he goes in, he starts blowing he puts a bunch of time bombs or whatever, or like remote bombs inside Santa's workshop, and really, if Santa already thought he was already back behind schedule of money and everything like that, Walton Goggins really throws another wrench in the gears.
Right. Which is like the really fucked up part of like, there's no redeeming his character. No. Like he was so filled with hate. Once again, why I was like, once I got interested in his car and was like, I want to know what that car is, and it was a Plymouth Fury. I was like, dude, the symbolism here is amazing because that is his entire character, like the entire film.
Yeah,
like he's so singularly focused in his rage against Santa Claus for no presents after that 1 year.
Yeah, and just like it's almost like he blames his crummy life of childhood life, I guess you would say, on because of Santa Claus didn't do anything to take care of that.
didn't bring his parents back or some shit.
Yeah, well, his parents also, because there's that one kid that like he buys the fucking like jet from at like the gas station, or the toy jet. Let me rephrase that. And he kind of goes like, "You want to see what I got for Christmas?" And he like pulls up his sleeve. And he's like, "You never forget the smell of burning menthols on your skin."
Right. Super fucked up.
Yeah. So his parents were definitely terrible, because even Mel Gibson says at one point, he's like, "There's nothing I can do about your parents. I'm sorry about that."
And he's like, "There's nothing I could do to bring back your parents."
Or no, I think he says there's nothing I can, or because he's talking about how bad the parents are. Because I think he says something about like I don't choose your parents or something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he kind of gets to that point there. I guess there is one aspect that they throw one little small thing in to give Walter Goggins' character, I guess, a little bit of I guess you would almost
his hamsters
is his hamster and his hamster obsession. Yeah. And I love when he goes to like in like Canada, he goes to like some fucking pet store because he's like, "Oh, my hamster's kind of bored sitting in the car here or whatnot," and so he goes to buy a bunch of like toys and stuff for the hamster and like a wheel and everything like that and like car accessories. And then the lady there, she's like, "You don't seem like a hamster person." He's like, "I think you're more of a reptile person." He's like, "No, I like my hamster," and so on. She's like, "No, I'm pretty good at this. I can read people and their pets. You're a snake person." And then I love how he goes like, "You remind me of my mother." It's like, and she goes, "Oh, and how so is that?" Well, she would never know when to shut the fuck up and mind
that
her
bitch
own
never knew
business.
when to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And it's just like that just puts an end to her conversation right there.
He's incredible. I put him up there with Ben Foster, where he's one of those guys to where it's like all I needed was one viewing opportunity of that actor to be like, you're now one of my all-time favorites. Like anything you're in, I'll fucking watch.
And that's a perfect example. He's almost like they're both in that category where they sadly kind of get like the B and C list roles.
Yes.
Yet they're super fucking talented. I mean, like really,
they fly under the radar. They'll get tons of kudos. Like Hateful Eight. Everyone's like, "Man, Walton Goggins, oh amazing."
Yeah.
Vice Principals, oh he's so amazing. Fallout, he's so amazing. He's not in anything big. Like he's not ever like the leading guy.
Yeah. That's just like there's another guy. He's starting to get a little bit kind of farther, but he's in fucking Seven Psychopaths. Oh geez, what's that dude's fucking name? I'll just have to probably look it up real quick.
I thought you were gonna talk about the guy from like Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing or something like that.
Yes, he's in that too. Fucking Sam Rockwell.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was in the movie with Christina Hendricks. Or
which movie?
No. The bitch from Pitch Perfect. I can't remember her name. Anna Kendrick.
Oh, okay.
He was in a romantic comedy with her.
Yeah, that sounds. You'll see him in certain things, but I always felt he's kind of another one of those guys who's a super
phenomenal
actor, but like he kind of always gets the B and C roles as well too.
Yeah.
He was like the main star in that Argyle movie that came out earlier this year. I never got to see it, but so he does get some stuff a little bit more now, and there's a couple other ones where he got sort of the starring role, but there was a period where he was always kind of like the third wheel in a movie, but then he fucking really was the guy that carried it, But yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't get the love like a Gerard Butler or I don't know why I thought of him.
Yeah, Zach.
Kind of a different type of actor, but
yeah,
you get what I mean though. Like just a huge, like a superstar.
Yeah.
He doesn't get that treatment.
No, and I think that's kind of the thing. And just like Walter Goggins and like Fatman, how he's just fucking
dude. Same thing. Ben Foster, Hell or High Water, I think it's what it's called.
That great movie.
Dude, so Chris Pine, awesome actor, right?
Yeah.
Ben Foster, fuck Chris Pine. Ben Foster in that film is like, that's the dude. Like the performance 100%. He gives, you're just like, shit, like this is the guy.
Yeah, exactly. No matter what. Like, and then also him and fucking Hostiles.
Hostiles, the movie with Russell Crowe and Christian Bale. I don't know why. 3:10 to Yuma. Ben Foster's amazing in that.
Yeah.
Pandorm, a film you need to watch desperately.
We keep talking about that one. We literally, it was between that and Fatman. I remember that was what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And they were like, well,
that was the film that turned me on to Ben Foster, and I was like, this guy is fucking amazing.
Yeah, God, there's another one about that time period too, where it's like, oh yeah, dude, this guy's fucking.
The Mechanic.
Oh yeah, with Jason Statham one.
Yeah,
that's right, he's in that. Yeah, but yeah, there's just so many of those good ones, and as I said,
you know what they remind me of? Sorry to cut you off, but
yeah,
what those actors remind me of is how people used to look at like a William Dafoe or William H.C. Macy.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they're fucking incredible. Anytime they're in a film, they're getting billing, and you're just like, oh fuck, William H.C. Macy's in this film? Fuck yeah, dude! Like this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
But when are they ever the star?
No,
almost never.
I think that's that thing is that they're those kind of actors. Like sometimes, like in a sense, it sounds weird. The actors who are the best actors, they're generally not stars. It's a weird one. Like
right.
There's a separate between the star category and then like the highest form of acting and so on. Because you'd almost even say
right. Gary Oldman's another one.
I was gonna say Gary Oldman. That was exactly who I was going for. Is because he's kind of like that too. Because very like other than like Dracula. Well, I guess he's not even the star. Well, I mean, he's star Dracula because he's in the title, but it's technically probably Keanu Reeves is the main character. Yeah. But yeah, it's like even him. He's a lot of times, and he'll play villains like fucking True Romance and so on like that, and just fucking chew scenery and just be like completely different in every single thing.
Book of Eli.
Yes, Book of Eli.
I feel like he's the reason why him and the dude that plays Titus Pullo in the Rome TV show is like henchmen.
Okay.
Like fuck Denzel Washington, even though I love Denzel.
I love Denzel. But I think Book of Eli is a perfect movie too.
I agree 100%. But it's the villains that make it so good.
Yeah.
Like Denzel is just playing a blind motherfucker.
Yeah, well, in a sense,
doing the same.
Denzel's playing Denzel, which is very solid, but that's what he has to show up. He just has to show up and be Denzel because he's the star. That's the thing. I feel like that's what makes a star is that you kind of become a character of yourself, just like Tom Cruise, just like Brad Pitt. You know what I mean?
Who's the dude from Django that plays the dentist?
He's also
Christoph Waltz or Christoph. Yeah, he's another one, but after Django, it's like, okay, he's after Tarantino came into his life.
Yeah,
he's now
Bastards and yeah,
right. But I don't know. It makes me sad.
He's sadly very underused in 007. It's like when he gets to play Blofeld, it's like, oh, that's badass. That sounds like that should be so amazing. And then it's like he's kind of like barely in it. And then what they do with him, it's like. It's kind of just they're kind of like very kind of weak, and it's like, oh, it's such a bummer. It's like you have him playing one of the best villains of all time, and he doesn't have tons to do. I mean, when he does, there is some moments in there, of course, but then they play that weird thing that like they give it the fucking the part that always throws me off in that I think it's in the Spectre movie is where they give it the Austin Powers 3 fucking storyline where for some reason Blofeld and 007 are like fucking. Pretty much foster brothers or whatever. It's like the fuck.
Right.
Like, you're gonna give it the Austin Powers 3 story. I didn't even in Austin Powers 3. I thought that was almost going a little too far that they made Dr. Evil and Austin Powers like related for some weird reason.
Right. I don't know, man. The modern James Bond films, the last few, they could just not exist, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like I like the first 3 of the Daniel Craigs, like for what they are: Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall.
Yeah,
and then the last 2 are kind of there's moments, I'll say that, but then there's like they're just kind of okay.
I'm not a fan. I'll be honest. I'm like not a big fan of like any of them, the Daniel Craig ones.
Well, my biggest
I watched them all once, and I'm like, I'll never watch these again.
My kind of problem with them sort of is. They do I mean, granted, Casino Royale came out in the 2000s, so it was in the total grounded in reality era where everything kind of took that Jason Bourne kind of style. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Jason Bourne, but that movie kind of made everybody else sort of copied that. Where it's like, let's make it grounded in reality. Let's make it kind of like, let's take away all the gadgets and all the fun and all that kind of stuff and, make it real like street level. And, it kind of rolled with that for a while, but I think what makes 007 fun is that the fact that it is slightly over the top.
It's a little campy.
Yeah, he's got the gadgets. He's got the villains are kind of a little bit kind of crazy and theatrical. And I think that's kind of the thing about it. It even has kind of what you would almost call an old-fashioned way of saying is like a comic book vibe. I think that's how it kind of should be. And
it didn't even have like the witty British dialogue,
liners or quotes. Yeah,
like that was missing from those Craig films as well. But I really hope Aaron Taylor Johnson is the new Bond, and they bring that back. After watching Kraven the Hunter, which I fucking loved the shit out of that movie.
I'm glad you say that because I've been wanting to see it, and I haven't watched it yet. But
you haven't watched it yet?
No, I went and saw. Well, I saw Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and then I saw the Lord of the Rings movie. Those are the ones that I think it came out the same day as Lord of the Rings did.
I need to watch that still.
And I'll say it's the Lord of the Rings one. It's worth watching. It's kind of like Two Towers light in a weird way, just like 1,000 years beforehand. Yeah, okay. Well, they're stuck in that same wall.
Two Towers light.
The fucking
Two Towers, the prequel.
Yeah, the fucking build a wall town. As I said, it's still interesting, still worth watching. It still made me laugh at parts. I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to hope to. As I said, it wasn't bad, but like. I think animation sometimes war is a weird one to do in animation, and the only reason I say that is because you can't draw that many figurines like at the same time. You know what I mean? It always makes it feel like it's a little bit like a thinned out war because you can only have so much animation going at once. I think an adventure would have been a little bit more interesting for the animation style.
Right. No, I'm interested. No, dude, Kraven the Hunter was awesome. I fucking enjoyed the shit out of it.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm definitely going to go probably see it this week for sure then.
Well, that actor's one of my new favorite actors, Aaron Taylor Johnson.
He fucking kills it. I remember like at first it's like it used to be like, oh, it's fucking
Kick-Ass and this fucking bitch again.
Fucking Kick-Ass, and so
this fucking dork.
Yeah, fucking dork, but he came around in Kick-Ass too, I feel. And then he was in Quicksilver in fucking Avengers 2.
Dude, the Christopher Nolan film. No. The Christopher Nolan film first. With the black dude. Damn it.
Was it Tenet? Was that the one he was in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he's the commando in Tenet.
Oh, okay.
Dude, so once I saw him in that role, I was like, okay, this motherfucker's grown up now.
Yeah, he became a man.
He became a man. And I was sold. I was like, no, this bitch is like a legit SAS like commando.
Yeah,
I was all on board.
Well, that and then
he trained his ass off for that film too, like doing reloads, doing everything. Like he took it like super fucking serious. And then from then on, like I feel like that was his level up moment. Like he was always good. He was always like a great actor, like a really, really solid actor. You know what I mean? And then he did that film, and it's like, no, the boy's a man now.
Yeah,
the boy's gonna do some shit. And then you have Bullet Train, where I was like, this is my guy. I fucking love this guy now.
Bullet Train was the one I didn't even know that was him until I saw the credits, and it was like, oh, that's Kick-Ass. Like that was the thing. I was like, wow. I'm like, he literally, fucking became a man. And I'm really impressed with it. And the fact that you say that Kraven's fucking badass, it's good to hear because a lot of those Sony Spider-Man ones, I always feel like it's not that they're bad ever, but they're just kind of like mediocre at middle of the road. And you're kind of like, what's missing is Spider-Man. Like, like I feel like that's really like, it's like I came to see a Spider-Man story and Spider-Man never showed up. Like, yeah.
Well, it's got its parts that it is, Sony does their awesome magic to it.
Yeah.
But the action scenes in Aaron Taylor Johnson is just, he does not miss. Like, there's no scene in it where you're just like, man, this is kind of stupid. It was fucking great. And I mean, like, I don't know. That is my pick for Bond. Like, I've been saying that since I watched Bullet Train for the first time. And I was like, look, he's got the suit. He looks perfect. He's James Bond. Let's just make it happen.
Let's do. He's British. That's the only qualification you're generally going to need. To get you in the door, and
right.
You know what? I'm kind of down for that. I'm actually backing that up.
Dude, have him be a young James Bond. Like he just got his 007, code name.
Well, and it makes kind of sense to make him a little bit young because then you can milk him for some time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because and we say he's young. He's probably the same age as us. So that means he's probably getting closer to 40, if I had to guess. You know?
I think he's in his mid-30s. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that. So that's actually kind of a nice because he's not like so kiddish that like he's gonna be like James Bond fucking Jr. It's like, but you could have him here and you could have him run for 20 years, and it's it's not like
right.
Because like poor Roger Moore, like because he was originally like asked to be James Bond like in the first movie in Doctor No, but he was doing the Saint and all that stuff, so he wasn't able to do it. So by the time he did get Bond, it's like 15 years had passed, and so he's already kind of older, and then he's doing it up to like his 50s and 60s almost. Nothing wrong, he's my favorite Bond, but I feel like if you could get somebody in younger, you can run with them for quite a ways.
Well, I just thought about this a lot because, like you, I'm a huge Bond fan. I have my favorite Bonds, all that stuff, and read Ian Fleming's books. They're very dated now, but when you think about,
they're still fun time capsules.
They are. They're fun, but when I think about like that character of James Bond, and I'm trying to think of, and I know this is taking it to a place where like the original film's never meant to go, and the book never meant to go, but like. So that has to be like an actual position within, the British government, the British military, MI6, all that stuff. So like the way I always thought of Bond, or recently in like the last 10 years when I started to fucking despise the Daniel Craig films. But the one thing I liked was Daniel Craig's character, 100%, he must have been like a royal paratrooper. He was like the top notch. This is the way I envisioned it. He's like the top-notch infantry guy from like the British military. And, he goes on his military journey. Like maybe he starts at the Royal Paratroopers. He works his way up, becomes an SAS operator, like a commando. He's doing fucking hits. He's in Iraq, fucking bagging dudes up, interrogating them. Like he's doing the work. Like he's out there. He's out there,
ground level.
Yes. So they like in the military, they'll talk about like, just speaking for the U.S., they'll talk about like the 3 different ways you attack the enemy. Mm-hmm. You have the infantry where you attack their body. And then you have like the Army Rangers where it's like you're hitting the body and you're like hitting the infrastructure. You're just fucking shit up. And that's like Navy SEALs, Green Beret, stuff like that. And then you got the Delta Force guys where it's like the highest tier of the military. And they're doing a lot of the same thing, but you start adding in the mind. You're hitting their mind too. You're safe nowhere. You're like a SEAL Team 6 Delta Force guy. Like there's no place on the planet where you're safe from these cunts. And then you have the CIA where they're doing psyops. They're fucking kidnapping people off the street. They're fucking poisoning motherfuckers. They're doing disinformation. And they also have Ground Branch where they're out there doing all the commando shit as well. So you could realistically have a motherfucker who can be your Jason Bourne spy, or fuck, I wish I didn't say Jason Bourne because Jason Bourne's fucking ridiculous. But you could have, your CIA spy, right? Your spook, planting bugs, stuff like that. But that motherfucker could pick up a machine gun and schwack a ton of people.
Yeah.
So that's how I think of James Bond. It's like, it's the pinnacle of that type of operator. So you get your 007, your 00 code name. You're basically like the fucking assassin for MI6.
Literally.
So so you input a dude like Aaron Taylor Johnson where he's younger, but like maybe he worked his way up there and he just got that 00 code name, and like this is his entry journey into being James Bond. Because James Bond is like, after so many actors played it, it's just like it's a code name. Whatever your old name was, this is who you are now to protect your identity and all that shit. But I think that would be such a fun way to go about it. Just, bring back the campiness, bring back the gadgets, but keep enough of the reality to like, give us the fun. And he's an actor that could give you all that physicality.
Exactly. I think that balance of having, you have a little bit of the comic book kind of campiness fun, and then you still have the good violence and action and so on like that, and just you mix the two together, and I think that could be really cool. I'm totally sold. I like this idea. For years ago, I used to always say that fucking Superman. What's his name?
Oh, Henry Cavill.
Because I remember there was the Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie. That was the one, even though he's playing American, but we know he's British. That movie, I was like, dude, the way he was dressed in that movie, I'm like, that's fucking James Bond right there. But it gives like a big build to James Bond, which I thought was kind of cool. The downfall is because he's Superman. You hate to kind of say it, but like that's almost such a big character. It's like that's like you're playing two icons in a sense.
Right.
I think people can kind of get around it a little bit more nowadays, but no,
He was my old pick. He was my old pick as well.
Yeah, he was for a while there, and I thought oh, that would be a pretty solid choice, and
especially with the recent Guy Ritchie film with him in it, him and Alan Rickson or whatever his name is.
The Ministry of
Reacher guy.
Yeah, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah. So watching that film, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, that was a good fucking movie too.
Dude, I enjoyed the fuck out of that movie.
I literally
when he schlacks all of them.
Yeah, I literally was like, oh, it's based on a book. I literally bought the book in the theater. I was like, I want to hear more on this.
Dude, when he kills all the Nazis who are telling the joke, like they're in the he just starts laughing. I was like, bro, this movie's great.
That one is. I really want to watch that one again because I know it's going to probably go on my top 10 list for sure. But like, I haven't seen it since I guess April when it came out. It's been a while.
It came out this year.
I think so, wasn't it?
I don't even remember. This year's been crazy.
Yeah, I think it's got to be this year because
which is crazy because it's not like we've been given that many great movies this year at all.
No, it's really one of the weirdest ones because 2024 because it's like I think about it, it's like God, it's like there was a period where like there was almost not even like a movie to go see if you just wanted to just show up for no reason at all. Like it was one of those strange times where it's just like, wow, there's just not tons of stuff out there. And it's the sad thing is I do feel like it's if the movie theater was closed tomorrow and I went there and like there was a fucking chain on the door and it was like that was it wouldn't surprise me. I'm at that point where it's like it blows my mind that the movie theater has been able to make it because I'm like I don't know how they're making money, to tell you the truth.
Right.
When an opening day movie only has like 20 people in there, like what, you know what I mean? And you're still running the air conditioning and the fucking heater and that you have your employees and all that kind of stuff. Like how much are you truly making?
Yeah. I want to know how many people have just bought like jailbroken Amazon Fire Sticks.
Quite a bit. So that's not out of
the I know.
Mexico brings them in like they're going out of style.
Well, I think about that all the time because it's like, I don't know, man. Like the state of the cinema in today's age is just very sad.
Well, yeah, it's a bummer too because it's like, and it doesn't. I get it. It doesn't take much to make that experience at home. You buy a 75-inch TV, you plant it right in front of your couch. You're getting close to. You're pretty darn close to the experience. It's not like the olden days where you have your 20-inch tube TV.
Right.
And the theater's definitely bigger, better, louder, and so on.
Dude, but, you buy a MetaQuest. What's the new?
You get a Quest.
Yeah, the new MetaQuest, the cheap version, where it's using basically the older technology. I think it's the MetaQuest 2S or something like that.
Well, there's the 3S is the brand new one, and I think the
3S.
And then now
the 3 is like the better hardware, and the 3S is like lower hardware, like lower frame rate and everything.
No, the 3 it's the other way around. The 3S is the thing of the S as being like the super model or whatever.
Okay.
So because I have the 3, which is the one from whatever last year, I guess you would say. But you literally put that thing on and you put a movie on and you can literally sit in the movie theater. Like you're literally there. You pick whatever fucking seat you want. If we both had a MetaQuest, we could both be sitting there and looking at each other in CG avatar form. And you can literally like we could literally sit together and actually talk and be like across the fucking country, but we'd be in the theater together. So you can like lean over if you want to make a comment during a scene. It actually sounds fucking dope. I just don't know anybody else that has that thing to like.
I keep thinking about buying one because of that. I was like, man, I could just bring the movie theater to me. I throw in, I put on my headphones I have on now.
Yeah,
it's better sound quality than I'll ever get in the movie theater.
And I'll say you put the Quest on, and just its sound alone is already pretty solid. Like, and the other thing, you could just fucking lay down and fucking watch a movie and just be like,
yeah, right.
Dude, and that's like the best part of it. Like, the games is cool. Don't get me wrong. I like the games. The only downfall is like, I've never really been able to get past the part where I don't get like a headache after like 2 hours or a little bit nauseous. That seems to be like the inevitable. But like if you're watching a movie on there or something like that, it's like, dude, it's fucking sweet. That's what I keep thinking about that for is,
so I can watch my TV shows that I want to watch.
Yeah, well, it's like
go back and watch some old ones that, like I would love to watch certain episodes of The Punisher again to where I could watch Frank Castle, just fucking murder perps.
Well, and then you can watch it on a big screen, and then the nice thing too is because it's on your face, it sort of like seals you off from the environment, so you get a lot more invested into the experience, which is kind of cool. It's not like you're in your house and you got lights and all kinds of stuff. It's like, no, you can really seal yourself in there. And I think that's the best part of the MetaQuest more than anything else is the fucking movies on there. Like, and it's like the most like nobody ever brings that part up. But like that part's so, because I used to ask people like before like I had one, and I knew some people like, do you ever watch movies on that? I'm like, no, I didn't even know you could do that. And you're like, what? Like that's the first thing I think about is like, dude, it'd be so badass just as a big movie screen.
Yeah, that was my whole driving point to where I started looking up. I think they're like $300 right now.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, they went on sale, so it's like that's a pretty solid deal right there for one.
Dude, I'm with you because I was like, man, movies and TV, like I that's my primary like focus for wanting to buy one of those.
It's 100% worth it just for that alone.
Yeah, I have small kids. I don't have anyone here to watch them, so like getting to the movies can be a real fucking challenge sometimes.
Yeah,
I could bring the movie experience to my house, and like you said, I could fucking lay in bed and be comfy.
Well, that's almost like the best part. I remember there was a long time ago. I got, back in the day when they used to send like random ass catalogs that had shit to order. And I remember there being like, it was probably like somewhere like 99, 2000.
Are you going to talk about the fucking glasses where you lay down as the mirrors?
Oh, no. I know which ones you're talking about.
Okay. If you were going to bring that up, I was going to be like, Spence, what's wrong with you?
I know those ones, but no, they had like old school like TV glasses where like it was a screen on. Who knows how the quality was? Let's be honest. But like, because you could plug AV cables into it, so.
Oh fuck!
And that's all I thought about. I'm like, dude, just imagine you could fucking put your VCR or DVD player in and lay down and fucking like the idea of just being able to lay down and watch something is kind of nice. And just like, oh, I have a really fucking big screen and it's above my head, and yeah, you don't have to like tilt your head up or anything, but no,
Dude,
not the.
You remember when Samsung brought out the little VR glasses, like the VR goggle things,
where you shove your phone in your face?
Dude, I was so sad when I upgraded to a phone that wouldn't fit that anymore.
Yeah, it's like there it goes.
Dude, it was one of the greatest things ever. Besides, like all the fucking dorks who would just watch porn with it, which I'm sure that's where most of the customer base was going.
I think,
but I would watch TV, dude. I would put on like I had Netflix on my phone or something like that. Yeah. I just put on TV and movies, and yeah, the kind of suck because it's a fucking cell phone screen and you're like super zoomed in on it. Yeah, like it got a little weird sometimes, but it was the fucking greatest movie experience at that point. Like without going to like a movie theater.
Yeah,
I fucking loved it.
Well, it's like there's another one I have too. I have these like pair of like TV glasses that I keep in the car. That's like for whenever I'm just like waiting and so on like that. And all it is it's just a USB-C cord you plug into your phone, and then it makes the phone like a big screen on there. And so you got the glasses on, and I can literally sit back in the car while I'm waiting, watch a movie, play a video games on like Game Pass or something like that, and it's pretty decent. It reminds me sort of like the equivalent of like having a 45-inch screen in like your car.
Yeah,
they say it's like bigger than it is. Well, I think as they say, it's like the equivalent of a 100-inch screen, but at 10 feet away. I'm like, well, I would never watch a TV at 10 feet away. That's
no, that sounds horrible.
No, it's like that's like it's like whenever you go to someone's house and they buy a really big TV, but then they set the couch like on the other side of the room. So then you're watching
Right.
like you might as well just have a 20-inch TV because that's about what it looks like now.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I kind of have a rule of thumb that like I want my if I can't really if my feet don't pretty much extend to like the TV, I'm sitting too far away.
Yeah, definitely depending on how big the TV is.
Yeah, maybe the TV's a little bit bigger, but like on a 50-inch TV or so, give or take, like I kind of like to be that close.
Right.
But
what are those glasses? What are they?
the ones I have, they're from TLC. The ones there's a couple ones that are a little bit more fancy, but this one they're like 100. I think I got them for $190 or something like that.
That's expensive. I just buy a MetaQuest.
Yeah, by this point, at that point, the MetaQuest was like $600. So like the glasses seemed like a bargain price. They have some other ones now that are a little bit more fancier and so on. But for the most part, I'm like, I still get quite a bit of use out of them. But yeah, if you can get the MetaQuest for like $300, like that's 100% the way to go, though, because then you also get all the other features that are in there too.
I don't know anything else that I could do on it. I was just like, dude, for movies and TV, this would be fucking great.
Well, that's the best part. The movies and TV. The games was sort of like a bonus to have, which is still cool. And then they have other things too. They have cool like documentaries where people film them in 360-degree cameras. So
that's
like,
cool.
You're watching like say like an Everest video or something like that, but you can literally look all the way around as the guy's doing his documentary.
Just stare at the dead bodies.
Yeah, like on there. So like stuff like that's kind of sweet. There's a lot of like novelty things and like educational programs that are kind of cool that nobody ever talks about either. Of course, you can also browse the web if you want, like a fucking giant ass like web browser screen. So you have that.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, as I said, there is some neat kind of stuff, and a lot of it's kind of novelty, but it's still cool at the same time.
Because the games haven't really got there yet.
No, like the games that are cool are pretty sweet. As I said, my biggest kind of issue is that I've never been able to like, and maybe if I played it more often, I seem to play it like on weekends, but I always get like about somewhere between an hour to 2 hours, you'll just start to get a headache / slightly nauseous. It's like the inevitable with the games, no matter what.
Right.
So, as I said, when you are playing them, they are really fucking awesome. Or there's another one too, is like you can get, I think it was on my PC version, but like on Google Earth you can look at that on the fucking thing, and at first I remember you do it, you get that like, oh shit, like you're like fucking floating in space, like it almost gives you like a weird depth thing, like you're like, oh my god, like, but like you could just literally spin the fucking Earth, like you have like, just picture like having like a globe that was about like the size of like a 3-story building that you could fucking dick around with.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're like all those things that nobody ever brings up, but it's like, oh, that's fucking actually kind of cool, and you could just fucking zoom in and explore shit and whatnot. I do think it's like, once again, you give it a couple more generations and like the games will probably be right in there, but they are getting close.
Well, it's the future.
Oh, it's 100%.
It's what it's going to be.
Yeah, it's one of those ones like, once you kind of get into it, you go, if you can just make this where it just feels comfortable and, and it's getting closer every single time, like, it's 100% the way to go. Why would you play games or do things any other way?
I mean, it's going to happen at some point. Like, we're going to, hit that wall, especially with AI. I think it's going to happen super fucking fast.
Yeah, because the robots figuring things out much faster than any of us could ever have done.
Oh, yeah, dude. But yeah, we'll have like a Ready Player One type reality, or what I fucking love would be like, I don't know if you ever watched the anime Sword Art Online.
No, I know of it. I know you've talked about it before and so on like that.
Right. Like it takes the model a little bit further than like a dot hack sign, which I think they're still just like in virtual reality, but like using controllers or some type of shit. But
yeah,
where it literally links your brain to the game and you're just in the game moving your own body, just, at will.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for those days. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as I tell you, like one of the coolest things is if you ever do get the VR is the shooting games in it, because how fucking accurate you are. Because it's just like shooting a real gun. You know what I mean? Like, so like your accuracy is like fucking there comparatively to like a controller or even a mouse. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, you fucking point and shoot, and if you miss, it's because you fucking missed. You know what I mean? It's not there's no other factor you can complain about. And just the fact that like it's like even like those the sniper elite games are just great and just I don't
Right.
know.
All the games that I've seen where they have controllers that look like actual guns too, where you can put your sticks and everything into it.
I have one of those, and they seem cool, but the downfall is that like it was great if I had a pistol or if it was something kind of simple like that, but it wouldn't really work for any of the like rifles and so on like that. Because if you went to reload it, like, you would end up clacking the guns together. It's like, oh well, this doesn't work because you got to pop out the clip, cock the gun and everything like that. Or if you have the rifle, you got to like whatever way you need to reload it and cock it and everything like that. You would end up banging the fucking controllers together.
Right. Yeah, I can see that being a problem.
So I kind of got, I was like, well, that seemed kind of cool. Like it worked. Like there's a duck hunt in VR, and so the pistol thing worked great for that because you didn't have anything you had to reload. So it just gave you the extra weight for like that. And the duck hunt's kind of cool because it's literally like in 360 degrees. So those birds are flying around you, all in NES graphics, but just in giant screen form.
That's pretty cool.
Which was pretty neat, but for a lot of the other ones, if you have to do all the reloading, but the reloading's fucking cool. I love that part where it's just like, or like in Resident Evil 4, you have to cock the shotgun and everything like that, and pump the shells back in, which gives it just that little bit more of like, as you're kind of panicking as these guys are coming towards you, and you get like a miss reload or something like that.
That's pretty cool.
So there's something cool about that. And I don't know. It feels better when like you have like the actual gun in your hand. You're more satisfied with your kills.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
But yeah, as I said, the movies on there though, the theater thing's so fucking cool. And then you could change.
It's the way to watch Fatman.
Yeah, exactly. Let's tie it all back around to old Fatman. I actually literally thought about it. I was just too lazy. I was like, I'm already laying down here. I guess I'll just watch it in bed. But I thought about pulling it up to watch Fatman on the Quest. Because I keep saying I'm like I got to use that more often for movies because it is really cool. It's just that there is that one thing where it's like that slightly like, oh, I got to grab it out, put the controllers, there's like it's not as fast as just clicking the TV on and going, okay, click, 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 play. There we go.
Right. A little more work to get it in.
Yeah, a little bit more work to get it just initially set up. But once it's there, though, you're like, oh, this is fucking sweet, Watch the movie on there. You could choose your theater, so you can have like a retro cinema, a modern cinema. You could be watching movies in fucking space. You could have an outdoor thing. They have a house that looks sort of like the ones, they tie it back around to Mel Gibson, like in Lethal Weapon 2, where he pulls it down with his GMC.
Oh, really?
They have one that looks like that, so it pretty much just looks like you're some like rich asshole in like Hollywood area watching a movie.
Right. I feel like Fatman is deserved to be watched in like a retro cinema.
I think so.
That's the way to go.
Well, plus the perfect example is that's a movie that like I don't know if it probably had like if you were maybe like in Los Angeles or New York, maybe there was a screening of it at like some special.
I don't think so. I doubt it.
Yeah, but there's nowhere else you probably were able to watch in theaters, so that's where VR comes in kind of handy, is all those movies that you couldn't watch in theaters for sure.
Dude, yeah, all the B movies, like what poor Mel Gibson's relegated towards, or even just like watching Borderlands in a retro cinema, in fucking VR would be amazing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We could be like, okay, we're gonna walk, we're gonna go down, honey, put on your nice Sunday best. We're gonna go watch fucking Bronson down at the cinema.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Well, it's that one too. If you really want, you can literally get everybody together. You can watch the movie, and as I said, there's one of those applications that you can create your own little avatar, so you can fucking like look at each other in the cinema as CG versions of ourselves.
I wonder if there's a way to where you could like record it with your avatars being shown, so you're almost like watching a film, like Space Odyssey.
Theater.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
You might be able to. They got some weird stuff where like you do have like very social interactions. Like I don't know if I mentioned that before, but there's like one where there's like a Vegas poker kind of like gambling one or whatever.
I've seen videos of people fucking with dudes on those.
Well, I remember the game started up and it was like, "Hey, you should play the tutorial." I'm like, "Fuck you! I know how to play poker. I don't need no tutorial. I've been playing games my whole life." And then it just threw me random. I thought it was gonna throw me in with like some computer players or something like that. No. It just threw me in with some random dude from like I don't know, Czechoslovakia or something like that. And I'm just sitting across looking at him, but we're just looking at our CG versions of ourselves, and I'm like. And he's like gesturing of like how I'm supposed to grab the pieces because I didn't play the fucking tutorial. I thought I was gonna figure it out when I was doing it with the computer. You know what I mean? No, I
love your statement.
Oh, there we go. I threw it out. Yeah, because
I love your statement. I've been playing video games my whole life.
Yeah, I don't need no fucking tutorial. Like, you know what I mean? Like, tutorials always feel like are kind of degrading, But obviously, I didn't expect to be thrown in with online multiplayer right off the bat.
I've learned, depending on the game, you need to play the tutorial.
Yeah, there's a time and a place. I will say. That Vegas experience definitely told me that there. But
fucking funny.
But it's weird because it's not like playing online games of other stuff. It's just like you're sitting in the same room and you're like, oh, okay, hey, here we are.
Hey, what's up, fucking dickhead?
Yeah, and like it's got the microphone on and everything, so you're like, oh shit, I gotta watch I don't even know what to say here because I did not expect to be like this.
Right, just say whatever you want. It's anonymous, right?
Yeah, it's Facebook's only recording probably everything, so.
Just watch your hard F words. What else is a countable word? Yeah, just watch those hard words that end in T's and R's.
Yeah, those words, generally those 4-letter words, and then there's some other ones too that
leave that for all the degenerates on the interwebs. Which I've noticed, I don't play Call of Duty anymore, but you remember the old days of Call of Duty and like old multiplayer online, like what you would hear people.
Oh, yeah. That was the thing because it used to be considered like in a sense. Back in the day, is that you were supposed to be a lot. That was sort of part of the fun of online video games. Is people just said some wild fucking shit because that was just and it was and trash talking was part of it, And I hate to sort of say it. This is what happens when like you start to allow more and more people to be allowed in the club in a sense. That you have to start putting some safety parameters in there and censoring and so on. And I think. When video games used to be just a bunch of hardcore people just fucking like talking shit and just really going to
trying to say the most ridiculous or horrific thing possible.
Yeah, because you were trying to top it. That was almost kind of part of the charm was that people would just try to make this like really vulgar shit. But because of that, like that was kind of like the wordplay of it. And then I hate to sort of say it, but the downfall is you start allowing in some normies and things like that, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is terrible!" And then they call up fucking Activision, being like, "I can't believe you have people on here talking this way. Little Billy was on there," and it's like,
report a player and all that.
Yeah, maybe Little Billy wasn't supposed to be playing a mature-rated fucking game, huh? How about that?
I think it overcorrected too far, but I mean. We grew up, in the days of couch co-op then first getting onto the internet and having multiplayer. And I remember like playing games. I think like playing with like me and RJ were playing online and we had a mic on and we were playing like Call of Duty, like the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare online.
Yeah.
And just stopping and looking at each other and just being like, holy fuck, I can't believe I can't believe what Ice Dragon 69 just said. That was the craziest, most racist thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. And that's probably the one that really, those are the things is when people start.
I don't miss those days. I honestly, I don't miss it because like sometimes it would be hilarious, right? But other times you'd just be like, fuck.
Like, I think this guy's serious. He's not being funny anymore. It's not just trash talking. I think this guy's got some issues going on here, and he might be a little too racist.
Yeah. But I do miss the days, like, I remember playing before, some little kid, and I'm just destroying him, right? I keep coming across him. He's like, you're fucking so mean. Don't pick on me. And I'm like, shut up, little kid. Put your mom on. So I can talk dirty to her. And he's just like, Mom! Gets out of the game. And I was like, yeah, fuck that kid.
Well, that's what it feels like nowadays. It feels like it's almost probably like all it takes is one person has to click the report button, and it's like even if you didn't say anything wrong.
Yeah.
I hate to sort of say it, we're in that age where like it's like the old fashioned where like whoever goes to tell the yard duty first is the one who's like gets is the believed one, and everybody else is like obviously
Right.
no matter what really happened. And I feel like that's kind of how it is now. So it's like all someone has to do is sort of flag that person, and even if they were totally on the right, that's how it's going to go down.
Right. Right. You're going to be visited by Mel Gibson's Fat Man.
But yeah, Fat Man on the naughty list.
Yeah, you're going to be punished.
But yeah, it's one of those ones. I guess also too. I don't know. I feel like nowadays too. It's like there's unless I'm maybe playing Dead or Alive, I don't know if I can do enough trash talking because I'm winning. That's like one of the few games that I actually can do really good at online. Even Street Fighter, like there might be a couple moments where I'm like, oh, I'm doing pretty good, and then all of a sudden just like ass whooped about the next 5 times. Up there we go.
Right. Right. I don't think I put my mic on for fighting games.
I never do.
Yeah.
I got nothing to say unless I know somebody.
I have direct messaged one person who just absolutely ate my lunch in Soul Calibur.
Uh-huh.
And I had to like just I had to get a win. So I sent them a dirty message just like, fuck you. I bet you've never like felt a vagina before in your life. Get fucked.
He's like, I'm feeling one right now. That's why I'm doing so good.
No, he literally wrote back, LOL. Nice game. And I was like, he played Baldo and just raped me for like 3 matches in a row.
Just that's it. Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
There's nowhere you're gonna go.
Yeah, and I was playing with my really awesome like custom characters.
It's like the ones where like the balls drop and everything.
Yeah. With big old doggers on them. Oh fuck.
Favorite part's like when you have the ones where like it doesn't happen until like they break the outfit and then it falls out.
Yeah. Dude, one time I was playing this guy and it was the character I made where it was a Valdo character and it's like the little tiny petite girl with the white dress.
Uh-huh. Sophie or Vita.
Yeah, and I'm fighting him and like it's back and forth, right? He's doing really good. And I was able to land Valdo's special where he does the back bridge and the camera goes right between the legs. And you see a little cock and balls underneath her dress.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Dude must have been like so shocked that he dropped his controller because I just destroyed him after that. And then he sends me a message and goes, what the fuck did you do? And I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't do anything.
Oh, it's hilarious. I always think about that level. I'm surprised that like that kind of just flew in. I guess because Soul Calibur wasn't really in its popular zone at that time.
Oh no!
So all that stuff probably just flew under the radar. No one was cared. No one had to consider
it. It just made it so fun though playing online. Like you play somebody who like their Valdo, build. They did everything they could to make it look like Wolverine.
Yeah.
And like here I come out with like a very generic female character and they're probably just like, okay, whatever. And then clothes get busted and there's a fucking donger. Just a giant rock hard cock.
Just swinging.
Yeah. They're probably just like, what the fuck? I'm going to quit this game.
Yeah, like I'm going to rethink my life from this point forward. Who I hang out with, who I associate with online.
Oh gosh. That shows how retarded I am, though. that I took all the time to do that just to make myself laugh.
Just for I think that's well worth it, though. And I think that everybody that you played against online probably put a little smile on their face no matter what, even if they're slim.
I hope so. I hope I brought some joy. I know I brought you joy because I didn't tell you anything. I was just this is going to be really fun. You're going to love my custom characters. And you're like probably thinking like, okay.
Yeah, okay, he got really into this.
Yeah, and then you see him and you're just like, these are fucking stupid looking. Like,
yeah.
There's nothing.
This is your OC?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the first time you saw it, you're like, wait. What was that? What was that?
Yeah, what just
What
happened?
the fuck?
Oh no.
Did you do it with just this one? No, there's like 10 more.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. That's the best part. You had like a whole like different army of different of these characters that you could choose from that all had this appendages.
Some unique quality.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Oh, good times of fucking good old Soul Calibur and so on like that. But
Right.
yeah, Christmas magic right there. That's for sure. You're bringing smiles to people's faces no matter what around the world. Just like, old Fatman would. Mel Gibson says Santa Claus.
Exactly.
But that's probably a good place to wrap up. I think it's about time for some dinner or get something to eat or whatnot. Had a good old fun-filled chat of movies and all sorts of stuff, And if you want to check out Fat Man, I know I think you get it on Amazon pretty easy. I think it was also said I think it was on like Peacock or something else too.
It's all over. It's all over for, free with just your streaming service.
Yeah, definitely worth watching. In my personal opinion, it's my new go-to Christmas movie, I think it's like an instant modern classic. I love it. Fucking Mel Gibson, Walton Goggins, fucking chewing scenery like nobody's business. And then it's got a lot of heart built into this story, so I think it's well worth it.
If you believe a Christmas movie has to be in the vein of Violent Night, Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, this is right up your alley. Perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, it's totally there, and it's one of those ones. It's both good, serious, yet you'll still have some laughs and all that stuff.
It's your dad's Christmas flick.
Yeah, if you want to impress him, there you go. But yeah, beyond all that good stuff, I'll put a little link tree for Old Man Orange in the description that shows you to all the other podcasts, comic books, old videos, and all that fun stuff. But till then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And Josh.
And we'll see you some other time.